Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over. Nasty.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. Matt and Josh, hello.
Hey.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Not good.
Not good?
Yeah, I'm kind of sore. I'm really sore.
Too much celebrating last night?
I'm officially back.
Looking at all those 70s women too much?
That was a lot.
You heard about that, huh?
I heard about it. I haven't listened to it.
Oh, go! It's worth it.
I heard about it actually from two separate people.
Who was the other person that wasn't Schaefer?
My podcast co-host.
Mitch talked about it.
Mitch was like, were you listening to this? And I was like, no, what happened?
Then
I quickly figured out what happened.
Did he like it? Was he a fan?
He was laughing, yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know we would hit Mitch Sherman.
Assume
That's
Mitch
great.
would be too smart
Mitch
for
listens
that
to the
lowbrow
radio.
comedy.
Mitch is awesome. Mitch is one of the media members that I don't know, that I haven't really had too much conversation with, but that I do respect tremendously, and I think he's funny. And I've only been told by the people who closely surround him how just normal and nice of a guy he is.
There you go.
So,
you got it. You nailed it.
If we're power ranking the media members that I haven't been able to like really get to know, I think Sherman would be on the top of the list.
Okay, who's second?
Never heard anyone refer to him as by his last name.
I know, it's just some
Now that I
Matt,
think
it's
about
just
it.
some Matt thing.
My guy, sure.
Well, not that, but it's more me just thinking about it. Like everyone just calls him Mitch, or it's just always Mitch Sherman.
That's a great
I've
point.
never
I
heard
always
anyone
just call
say
him Mitch.
Sherman.
Sure. The power ranking number 2 would Rob Anderson.
Who else do you want to know?
Rob Anderson, I would like to meet. I think he's just a very interesting and
Great
very
guy.
good at his job. I love his
Definitely.
tweets.
The
His
goat.
tweets are incredible. I
Yeah.
also,
You want to know Rob?
Well, I want to know how his brain works, because it's just like
No, you do need to know he's a Brewers fan.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's okay. I mean, this is a professional thing. I mean, I just think like the stats that he tweets out and the information that he gives out about Creighton basketball, and I am the host of Blue Jay Overtime, is
People forget.
incredibly useful. It's incredible. I very much enjoy
Imagine
it.
what it's like to be a broadcaster. It's even more useful.
There's a kid who was in Joe Mayer. He still might work for Husker Online. He was a year younger than me.
So you can call him kid?
Yeah,
Okay.
essentially.
I don't know that.
He's a very good. You wouldn't, but he's a very good writer, and he like went to college the same time I went, and he's good at what he does. But I never like interact.
You wanna
with
know
or
him.
Talk to him. I marked one off my list. I never met Tim Verghese
You have a
Okay.
list.
until like last week, and I had him on the show, and I still hadn't like met him in person and like actually gotten to know him.
Where'd you meet him?
We went to the Crescent Moon.
You just had him out for beers?
Yeah.
Was
I
this for the young media
No,
members
this was not
function
the
that I'm not invited to?
This was not the super secret society
old.
of young
Yeah.
Well, what's
broadcasters.
the age cutoff for that? Can I
29.
Crash that at
If you're 30,
crash it.
once you hit 30, you're out.
Do you,
Oh, I almost
do you
crashed it a couple weeks
graduate?
ago.
Is there a ceremony? Like,
we
okay, you're
haven't-
turning 30.
We
We're
haven't
kicking
had
you out
any.
now.
We haven't had any graduations. We have had a departure. Matt Satilli.
Dead.
Rip.
I was gonna say rest in peace, but he didn't die. He just he just went to
He went to UConn.
Hartford, death. I mean,
Yeah.
the same thing.
He's now covering the Yard Goats on a weekly basis
And the Super Bowl.
and the Super Bowl. Yeah.
That's true. That was cool.
So, yeah.
Hey, just know, us old people, we know what you're doing. All right. And we know where you are. And
what are we doing?
we know what you're
Maybe
doing.
we can get
Plotting.
invited in to give a speech on behalf of the other old people.
We have a presentation.
I'm going to show up one of these times
You-
and you guys are going to
you
be
should
like, all
bring
right,
in-
time to go. But I'm going to say, oh, dang it. I was
You should
just
invite
missing
one
it.
old person for every meeting. Like it's just a different one. You're cycling
Ooh.
through them.
We're not a Make-A-Wish program, all right? We're not trying to make you guys feel any younger or feel any better
All
or
right,
trying
that's
to
fair.
lift your spirits, okay? We are just trying to get hammered is what we're doing. And then we want to talk crap about all of you.
Well, what if there's old people who want to talk crap about all of those people too?
Then make your own society.
What if
you
they
guys-
want to be in that society?
You guys have friends. You can just talk to each other.
That's exactly what we do. There's no society.
Yeah, there's no society.
Yeah.
There's there was a very
point of order is there's really no gathering. That's the problem.
there was
You get in your 30s and the
I'd say
gathering
that's the best part. Yeah.
There was a very
becomes a difficult.
there was a
part.
very famous like Harvard professor who somebody was questioning, like this was back in like the 90s where they were questioning like the Illuminati and like the society of people like pulling the strings, And he was like, "You're funny thinking they need secret meetings. They all go to the same country clubs. They all graduated from the same classes. They're all friends with the same people.
It's like the
they
Christmas enjoyers
they
or
don't,
whatever.
Yeah, they don't need to all meet together.
They might need secret meetings.
It's the same thing with you guys.
They do.
It's the same thing with the older broadcasters. You don't need a secret meeting because you all go to the same press conferences and you all go to the same games and you all go to the same high
I don't go to no freaking press conferences. I don't even see these people at press conferences.
When did you get
I
out
hate
of,
how much you young people talk about press conferences.
That's what we talk about. The
I
super
know.
secret society.
Get
of
a
broadcast.
life. Stop
Yeah.
talking about press conferences.
You know, they stream those. You don't have to go to them.
What do you
Yeah.
know? This is our
Why are they talking about press
They
conferences?
love talking about press conferences. They're
Is
like the
this
press
true?
conference.
We go to them. We talk
Well, yeah,
about
you
them.
go to them.
We have funny moments about them. We make fun of how people answer or how people ask questions and how people answer questions.
So
least
weird.
At least, sorry, I make fun of them. I'm not going to speak on behalf of them.
the amount you care about press conferences is crazy.
That's how it came up.
Mhm.
At some point, I'll stop caring about them. Like you stop caring.
I
about
think
them.
so. I think so. I hope so.
Like I found it very funny yesterday when I told you I was like, yeah, I was listening to this, and you were like, you listened to that?
What was it?
The Pat Stewart.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was he went on the radio for like 45 minutes, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't listen to all of it.
Oh, okay.
I listened to the.
I just read articles that summarized it, and I felt like I got the gist of what.
Yeah,
I needed.
that's kind of so like the player press conferences. I unless it was Dylan, I was never. No offense to Andrew Marshall, but I'll read a couple of your quotes from Robin.
One of the most freeing aspects of being fired in the middle of the season
Okay.
is that the following Monday, when everybody else was at the press conference,
That sounds awesome.
or having to like listen to it, or having to come up with something to write off of it, and it's like I don't have to listen to any of this,
Yeah.
and I could just show up when they play the next game,
Yeah.
which happened to be in UCLA, and I literally showed
And
up.
you literally went.
And it was great. Like I didn't know anything that was going on, but just completely distancing myself for like a 3-week stretch and only watching the games
Yeah.
was pretty phenomenal.
that
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you because I'll be honest, whatever gets said on Monday almost has no relation to what you end up watching
Yeah.
on Saturday.
I used to think, wow, I'm so excited for like spring ball to come back or for like fall camp to come back. And now yesterday happened, and I'm like, I'm so mad that spring ball is here because then I have to listen to all this garbage, all this crap. That
We got
they
to
say.
pretend to get excited about the spring game, which I think as a station the last 3 years specifically, we've really gotten all in on. We do not need to get excited about the spring
Thank
game
you
as
for
a
canceling
station.
the spring
Yeah.
game. But then they brought it back.
And
So
then
now I
I
have to just listen to all this pointless, mindless stuff just to make sure I keep up with everything. And I think it would just be better off if they didn't do it. Just all close spring practice.
screw me for listening to an hour's worth of press conference.
No, that's what I'm saying. I listen to it. I just don't want to. That's what I'm saying.
We all got parts of our job we hate.
I'm still very much in the part of I'm happy spring football is here and I'm excited to take in all of this info and start.
I'm
thinking
very
about
much
football.
between you two, which is really funny seeing you on this corner of just like, I hate everything.
I want to go as far as
As
I
it
hate
relates to
everything.
Nebraska-
That's what he's talking about with me.
No,
Yeah,
as it
I know.
relates to
I'm
Nebraska
defending
football.
you.
Specifically Nebraska football, not everything. But right now, like,
I find myself annoyed more often than
Yeah.
not about it. Yes.
I think I'm just very early on in my football covering season's life relative to everybody else that I'm just very happy for the opportunities at this point to just pretend that these things matter.
That's a good spot to be.
I know
just
that
not there.
I agree with you. Like in reality, none of this stuff fully.
why does it feel like you're campaigning to keep your job?
I'm not.
No one's taking it. You're good.
No, I'm not. I'm just not trying to
You're
insult
just
Connor.
happy for the opportunity to
I'm
be
not.
here.
No, I'm not trying to insult Connor and be like, how could you be in broadcast and not be excited for spring football? How can you be like? I'm not trying to be that way. I just personally am excited for it. That's all.
Perfect. I'm personally not.
It's funny you mentioned though about the whole, after you lost your job and then on like Monday you were very happy you didn't have to deal with that stuff. My
I mean, there's
dad,
many other things
Sure,
I had
sure.
to deal with that weren't as
and not to fully compare situations, but to compare that specific instance. Like my dad got fired from he was a remote worker, like he was working at home, and he got fired, and I was home when it happened. And he goes, Matt, come down. And I go, okay. And I came down, he goes, I got fired. And I'm like, oh, okay. I go, how do you feel? He goes, pretty great. You want to go to a movie? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And he's like,
went to Wimbledon.
And I forget what movie we went to.
You should know that.
I should.
How long ago was it?
3 years ago.
2020, 2023,
2022, 2023-ish. Yeah.
Was it King Richard?
No, we did not see that Will Smith movie.
That movie rocks.
Why did you say it?
That movie's good.
No, I didn't. I don't like Will Smith, but
what?
Okay.
Will Smith, you love Hitch.
Yeah, that's
you talk about Hitch every day.
I love Eva Mendes.
He loves Hitch for Eva Mendes and Kevin James.
Kevin James. It's Kevin James.
If I'm being honest with you, yes.
Dude, Will Smith rocks in that movie.
He's fine in that movie.
Wow. You don't like Pursuit of Happiness?
King Richard was really good.
King Richard was awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was excited for it, so I was probably predisposed
I love
to
Chris
liking
Rock.
it anyway.
I can't root for that guy anymore. I love Chris Rock. I'm a Chris Rock guy. Always will be a Chris Rock guy.
You had to pick a team after he slapped
I not
him?
picking. There's no picking team. I love Chris Rock. I think Chris Rock is awesome, and he got slapped on global television.
I don't care about what Will Smith does as a person. He seems like he's in a very dysfunctional relationship, and his kids are complete weirdos. But I don't care about that.
Have you seen the Key and Peele sketch about Jaden Smith?
I don't think so.
Where he's like, they're pitching like Jaden Smith like a movie, and he's like, yeah, he lives in a house, and Jaden Smith goes, what's a house? And like he was like, it's a mansion but smaller, and like it's Keegan-Michael Key like explaining normal things, and it's Jordan Peele like Jaden Smith being like, I told you, no sci-fi. No, it's a supermarket, it's a grocery store.
Pretty funny.
Yeah,
pretty funny.
It's good.
Kid's a weirdo for sure. They're all weirdos.
Yeah, they're all weirdos.
They're all weirdos. I don't care. I just like him in the movies.
I didn't know entanglement was a way to describe sex until Jada Pinkett Smith started doing it.
Yeah.
Total idiot.
Yeah.
They're all idiots.
Totally.
But yeah, Hitch is awesome. Hitch is great. And he obviously is great in Hitch. Come on, guys. He's obviously great.
Oh, I thought you were denying it.
No, he's obviously great in Hitch.
But you prefer Kevin James.
Yes.
I love Kevin James. I was watching King of Queens clips a couple weeks ago. That show absolutely rules.
I'm in the middle of a rewatch.
Great run, Josh.
Anytime I spill mustard on my shirt, I think I'm Kevin James from Hitch. Because he spills it on his shirt.
He does, yeah. They clean it up. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I even
Allegra Cole. Oh,
Allegra, yeah.
Do I have a favorite Kevin James movie?
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
A thing.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
I haven't seen that.
A little problematic, don't you think?
A little problematic. Probably.
How about Grown Ups?
But people always like it because it has what's her name and she dresses down.
Justin Timberlake's wife.
Yeah,
Jessica Biel.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Is she gonna? She'll probably be on dimes through the decades in 30 years.
No,
from now,
30 years.
Are you guys gonna continue this bit?
Yeah.
There's a lot more names I have.
There's
on
a lot
list.
more women. Yes,
I have several already set aside to send to Josh.
I love it how we've come all the way back around to hot or not on the radio.
No,
it's
back.
not.
It's not hot or
It's
not.
educational.
It's their importance to pop culture.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with
You
how
would fit
attractive they are
perfectly
or
in the
not.
Kevin and Michael era.
We
of
are
unsportsmanlike conduct.
We are the most horny and progressive show at the same time on the station.
Check out Babe of the Day on
difficult-
1620thezone.com.
You saying yesterday that you wanted to get a women's hockey jersey
Yes.
so you could go to the bar, so then someone would come up to you, and not someone, a female would come up to you and applaud you for being progressive.
Yes.
Was one of the most nakedly pathetic things that I have ever heard you say.
That is absurd, Matt.
I want to get a
I wanted to yell
Check it
at
out.
you
This
in
guy
person.
loves women's sports. He must love women.
There you go. You guys got it. You guys are there. We're locked in. You guys see the vision.
understand.
I
You
get
see
what
the
you're
vision.
doing. I
We
get what
all
you're doing.
thought the same thing when we were your age.
Thank you. Thank you. You can't act like I'm pathetic when you admittedly were pathetic as I was only 10 years ago.
Well, I just don't know what my
No,
version
no.
of that would have been.
Because they didn't make women's hockey jerseys when we were 20.
Yeah, like
what?
liking women's sports wasn't cool. Then.
You didn't think
I was walking around the halls of school going, you guys catch that Rebecca Lobo game last night?
Like the WNBA wasn't quite there.
You never thought, oh, Stacy's hot. Let me get a Sue Bird jersey.
Check out my Shamiqua Holdsclaw jersey. Guys naming dudettes. See?
Lisa Leslie was awesome.
Oh,
Remember when she dunked that one time?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you do.
So I don't know.
I've been
Different strokes for different folks.
I've been saying Gino's the best coach in all of sports for a decade.
Yeah, but no, you got to pick somebody else. You can't pick Gino. Can't pick Gino.
Oh, Andy's in
Too
here.
obvious. You got to show
Andy,
your depth of knowledge.
I missed Andy. He goes, no, Matt is still pathetic.
Oh,
Dang.
Miss you too, Andy.
Dang.
Wow. That was a moment. Josh Peterson, though, called it one of the smartest things he's ever heard me say and didn't know that I could think of things like that.
Oh, the whole Jersey bit?
Yeah.
Oh.
He commended it. Mr. Progressive thought it was super progressive that I was
Wow.
looking for progression.
I was going to commend you on the segment. What a great idea. It perfectly born out of idiocy and stupidity.
Yeah.
It's absolutely perfect. I like organic things. That is organic.
yeah. When people say like, okay, you're starting a new show, you need some bits. We gotta have some bits. And we tell them it's got to happen organically.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
why I hate every time I start a new show, because it takes a while.
Never in a million years could I have sat in a room and thought, hey, what if I just named women throughout history and Matt tells me if he does or does not know who they are?
Great.
Knowing full well the answer will be no.
I really got to listen to this.
I said this to you and Mike off the air, and I think it's funny, so I'll say it on the air too. Like, you know, I rewatched the segment because we got a lot of people were like, hey, this is great. That was awesome. That was super funny. And I rewatched the segment and I was like, you know, I don't find this necessarily like hysterical or anything like that because it's just me fumbling.
I don't think you like being the butt of the joke.
No. I was just looking at it. I was like, I just don't see, like, I didn't see the vision of like me fumbling through things being funny, but I recognize that people who did grow up in that era, who did love those women and did love those people, seeing me and how I am go through it and fumble through them is very funny.
Like, I would love to get John Bishop's reaction to, what do you mean you didn't know who Farrah Fawcett was?
Yeah, he would have been having a panic attack.
No, it's not. I'm totally fine with being the butt of the joke. I'm the butt of the joke plenty. I feel like sometimes I thrust myself into being butts of jokes. I just don't like it when there are like,
I'm the best butt of the joke.
No, I just don't like it when there are inaccuracies or when it's just people accuse me of doing something or saying something that I didn't do or didn't say. Like that irks me a lot. And that's happened. And that gets a frustrating reaction, you know? Or it's like when a stupid argument is brought up only just to like make me look dumb, where I'm like, that's dumb. That's stop. But like I
like the Gare Bears.
No, that's just me getting mad at other people's incompetence. Like that's my anger from the Gare Bears is not, I think it's hysterical.
We all got a verbal lashing this morning after our laughing segment about the Gare Bears.
I'm going to be honest.
I heard some commotion.
I'm going to be honest with you. I had no problem with Schaefer laughing. Okay. Because Schaefer just thought it's funny in general. Joey's laugh was coming from a place of
malice.
My rival is going through it.
Like Joey's laugh was purely coming from hatred. Was purely coming from.
Yeah, he's probably laughing right now.
He thought it was so funny that my team is going to be leaving my beloved hometown. Like
it's so embarrassing.
Yes, it is. You should listen.
I
to
still don't think it's
going
to happen, but you know,
I think it is.
You do? Yeah. You do?
Well, I'm very in tune with the beat reporters, and I know the guys.
Okay, but tell me why you think it's going to happen.
So Adam Hogue is a guy. He does the Hogue and John's podcast, and he tweeted out yesterday that he thinks it's at the half-yard line.
Whoa.
And if Hogue thinks it's that close,
why does he think that? What?
Because he's just very tuned in. He just knows Hallis Hall. He knows how they're operating. He knows that it's been 5 years that they've been trying to build the stadium. It's been 5 years that they've been trying to get a shovel down. There's just been so much pushback, and I think
it's still that. Like it's, the argument against it, the argument to why it's not going to happen is it's a complete power play to get Chicago to actually build the damn thing.
So if this happened in like year 2 or year 3, right? If they had bought this, like, before I was a sophomore in college when they bought Arlington Park. Like, I'm now 2 years out of college. Like, if they did this in year 2 or year 3, I could see this as being, yeah, you're right, a pure power play, pure bluff, everything.
That's what I think the Royals did. I think the Royals they floated that whole floated that whole Kansas City, Kansas thing and all that other crap, just to be able to move in on downtown. I think that's where they're going to end up. Yeah, so I'm not worried.
I think though, from my perspective and me following this, I really just think Kevin Warren was strictly hired just to build the stadium because he helped get the Minnesota thing done. And he was like, Kevin Warren wasn't hired because of a great job he did as the Big Ten commissioner. Okay?
Most certainly not.
Kevin Warren was hired because he got that Minnesota stadium built, and they were like, "You've done it before, do it again." And I think because it's been 5 years, they're sick and tired. They're just sick and tired of doing this. They're sick and tired of fighting with Illinois.
That's the point. Tired. You got to get them more sick and tired. And then Illinois will finally say,
I think they're just gonna do it. And I think that they know deep down, as much as I bitch and moan and complain and tell you that I won't go to games, I still will go to games.
Oh my God, they're still going to show up. That's not a doubt. It's just a horrible thing for the fans.
That's why I think they don't care. Yeah, it is a terrible thing for the fans. That's another thing too. Like, people in the comments were like, "Oh, you're just mad because it's far away from Skokie." I'm like, 60% of the people who go to Bears games are even more north than where I'm at. Like Wilmette, Winnetka, Arlington, Des Plaines, Palatine. Like, those are the people who own season tickets. Park Ridge people, Norwood Park people. Like, those are the people who own season tickets. Hammond, Indiana is a full hour without traffic. Like, without barely any traffic, is a full hour away from there. Imagine with traffic. And you brought up a great point too. How many roads lead into Hammond, Indiana?
Great question.
Like, I have
one Home Depot.
Like, seriously, I have no idea if they even have the infrastructure to have that many cars, come through and enter their tiny little city.
They may not.
And I don't know if you've seen the Hammond, Indiana site. It's not that big. Like, I look at it and I go, it's going to be a stretch to put an industrial stadium on that site. I don't even know where the parking is going to be.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's fake, but you don't think so.
I don't know. They're literally promising to pay the entire thing for them. And the McCaskies
that's what Iowa did.
The McCaskies are poor.
I was just trying to find my old Kevin Warren picture of where he was.
I have an old Gus Johnson picture.
He was superimposed on with the big banner, the "We Did It" banner in the background. That would have been a perfect photo
Andy's
for this
right.
moment.
Andy writes in, going to a Bears game in Indiana will be like Husker fans going to Arrowhead. Low key.
Yeah, which would be bad.
Low key. It'd be
cool for one time, bad for every time.
That should be the slogan.
The Gare Bears.
Cool.
Good for one time, bad for every time.
they're like a private room with a stripper.
Go on.
Okay, hang on. Where are we going?
I was just saying.
Good for one time, bad for every time?
Yes.
There
you go.
I'll do that.
I never will.
Preferably ever. With all due respect to our nightlife workers.
That's the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha. Hey, should we say it?
What? Are we doing happy? What's our Happy New Year situation? What are we doing it?
I don't
know.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
We've been saying Happy New Year on the afternoon crossover.
Okay, that's good. So you're using those for the afternoon shows. Are you using these for the midday shows?
I was using
both of both.
Both of both.
Okay, but you have to be careful because they might you don't want them to overlap.
I don't know why I don't.
This
know.
is why I'm asking the question.
Yeah. So then we haven't really discussed.
I think we should just mark Happy New Year's and then figure it out.
And we'll have a big pile of them at the end.
Yeah. Let's just mark Happy New Year's and then we'll figure it out when we figure it out.
All right. Put
3,
it in the pile.
2, 1. Happy New Year.
It's February 20th, and we just got a giant snowstorm.
Mount Happer.
Mount Happer has returned.
This was a year ago around this time. I went to Home Depot and made a flag to try and establish myself as a character on 1620 of the Zone.
That was weird. You tried too hard.
Like I do most things. Crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Middays with Matt is up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people. Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call. Make room. And we let him off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. It's a Friday, baby. We are just a couple hours away from the weekend, which will be a great weekend of sports. We're, it's Wacky Guess Wednesday, but we definitely are in kind of like wacky sports season. The Genesis Invitational is going on right now.
Whoa, okay.
Golf. Rory McIlroy had a great first round yesterday. Currently, Marco Penge leading the Genesis Invitational 6 under.
It's moving day, though.
It is moving day. Friday is always moving day. Rory tees off at 2:02. He's only one shot out of the lead, trying to pick up his first win of the season, maybe get a little bit momentum before we head into March, which then heads into April, which then heads into the Masters. Josh Hodson, can Rory McIlroy defend the green jacket this year? We will find out. Can't wait to see what his Masters dinner is going to look like.
I was just thinking that.
Probably a bunch of mashed potatoes and sausages and maybe a steak or two. I don't know. Fun fact, Matt McMaster, Northern Irish.
Okay.
Not Protestant, but I am from Northern Ireland. There is a distinction there. So Rory McIlroy, Northern Ireland. I don't know what a Northern Irish Masters dinner might look like for him. So that should be exciting to find out in a couple of months. But we are in wacky sports season. Golf is going on. They're racing in Atlanta this week, Josh Hodson. You know how much fun that is going to be?
Atlanta.
In NASCAR. It's one of the best tracks currently on the NASCAR schedule.
Atlanta is one of the best tracks.
Oh, yeah, by far. You
okay.
Go 3 wide. You don't really go 4 wide a ton. I mean, you probably lead to some wrecks, but you can pass 3 wide. It's not like a true, you can draft on it, but it's like you still got to lift a little bit on it. It's a great track.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for it.
We have a great slate of college basketball this weekend. My God. Arizona at Houston. Iowa State at BYU. We have Michigan and Duke, just the number 1 team in the country and the number 3 team in the country in the middle of February of all months, just playing each other in Washington, D.C. We also have a sneaky good 3:00 Sunday matchup between Iowa and Wisconsin. That is a unranked Iowa team versus a ranked Wisconsin team, but really is like a ranked on ranked matchup because Iowa is going to end up being ranked especially if they end up winning this game, because who did they beat in their last game? Oh, top 10 Nebraska. So should be a very good slate of college basketball. If you love golf, you'll be able to watch that. If you like NASCAR, you'll be able to watch that. If you like baseball, it's spring training day, baby. How about that? The very first day of spring training across the MLB, across Major League Baseball.
I don't know how to watch it, but I'd love to watch it.
I woke up this morning and I listened to Jeff Passan.
Yeah.
Talk about the lockout.
On a podcast on Sports Center? What?
No, on Rich Eisen.
Rich Eisen. Okay.
He talked about the lockout because that's all we're talking about.
A whole season of next year's lockout is all we're going to talk about?
A whole season of Tony Clark. Why were you a player? Not really. I just wanted to make that joke. A whole season of they're probably not going to play baseball in 2027. Is what we're going
we
to
got
endure.
White Sox Cubs today. 2:05.
We do. Also, we have later in the week we have the Cubs kick on San Francisco, so that should be fun as well. Tony Vitello,
Tony V.
You get to see him in the dugout in his very first spring training. Kansas City plays today, taking on the Rangers.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is, like I say all the time, this is the time where I look at the Cubs roster.
Okay.
And
That's
I
fair.
go, should we do a segment where I look at the Cubs roster and I tell you how I feel about it? Probably not.
It's on the table.
Yeah, I feel fine. A lot of the same guys are back. And Bregman's on the team. So it should be good. Baseball starts for the MLB, but baseball is already going in college baseball. We'll talk about Nebraska men's baseball, who had a pretty good start to their season last weekend. Omaha softball is currently in action right now. They're taking on Kennesaw State, trying to keep their undefeated record alive. They have 5 games this weekend. Nebraska softball also has 5 games this weekend, taking on some of the better teams in the country. They're gonna play South Carolina at 12 o'clock today. Number 13 in the country are the Gamecocks, and then tomorrow at 7 p.m. they'll take on Texas A&M, the number 11 ranked team in the country. So softball in the state of Nebraska is killing it. Basketball in the state of Nebraska has had a pretty topsy-turvy week, right? Nebraska defeated by Iowa.
Won, some teams have lost.
Some teams have lost. Some teams have won, like Omaha basketball. They defeated Oral Roberts. No weekend game for the Mavericks. Their next contest is in South Dakota, taking on South Dakota on Wednesday, and then they'll finish their season next Saturday at St. Thomas. So that will be a very big one for the Omaha Mavericks when it comes to potentially seeding in the Summit League tournament, along with building some momentum, trying to defend their Summit League tournament championship. So we have that, spring training, college basketball. We have it's spring football, baby. It begins this Saturday, February 21st. How do you feel that spring football is back, Josh Odson?
Oh, they've pushed it up a few weeks, so I'm not really ready for it, more so than normal.
Yesterday, we had the whole crew talk. Head coach Matt Rule talk.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive coordinator Dana Holgerson talk.
Holga.
Defensive coordinator Rob Orridge talk.
Coach Happer.
First time. Coach Happer, indeed.
That guy looks like Connor Happer.
Are we just going to say every bald man with a slightly red beard looks like Connor Happer?
Not what we're doing. You know it when you see it, and I saw it.
He's bald and he's got a red beard. Yeah. What else do you need to look like Happer?
They have similar, I believe the kids call them fits.
You mean builds?
Wardrobes?
You mean just hoodie and fashionable sweatpants?
That's right.
That's what Connor Happer wears.
Oh, no, you don't have to tell me. I know.
You did work with the man for 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Was that show on?
Yeah.
The Connor Happer show?
Longer than Schick and Nick. A lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people forget.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do forget. By the way, Indiana just released how much money Kurt Cignetti is going to be making in the 2023 and the 2026 cycle. $13.2 million. Who would have thought in this day and age that Indiana football would be paying their coach $13.2 million? That's almost as much as Kentucky's entire basketball team.
Whoa.
It is. And they are not good enough to have that going. So we'll talk about the coordinators. We'll talk about what Matt Rule said. He said, I'll just relay this right now. He said 2 things that interested me.
Okay.
Like 2 things that I was like, all right, that's interesting. I have some opinions on that. Hogo said a couple of things that were fairly interesting. Orich, I don't want to say Orich necessarily said specific things that I found interesting, but his overall tone and message I found very, very interesting. Something that I definitely do want to compare to in a message and kind of tone that is comparable to someone else who was in the Nebraska football program who had success at the Nebraska football program, specifically under Matt Rule. So we will speak all about that today. Austin Jacobsen will join the show. He is at the state wrestling tournaments today and the entirety of the weekend. He's been there the entire week. We'll get updates on skate wrestling from Austin Jacobsen. We'll also have a little bit of banner. Brian Christopherson,
BC,
will join us as well to talk about Nebraska basketball's game against Penn State.
And why do you have that chuckle in your voice?
I was going to say big game.
Oh, okay. Well, it is a big game. It's a big.
Is it? It's only a big game if they lose.
Well, it's a big game in the sense that it's a B1G game.
What's a what?
B1G, Big Ten.
Has anybody ever called the Big Ten B1G?
Yes.
B1G sounds like a type of race I would never watch. Sounds like a type of car that I would never buy. It's like, yeah, I got the Audi B1G. Yeah, it's got
Ooh,
8 cylinders.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
The
good.
rims are chrome.
Screens and the headsets and everything.
I don't want to make fun of people who are obsessed with cars. I don't.
But
No, I don't. One of my very good friends who's a listener here actually loves cars. Terry, shout out.
Hi, Terry.
Just not me.
Thanks for the support.
It's just not who I am. I'm not a car guy.
Oh, but when you need a car guy, you'll say and do anything.
Who's more insufferable? Car guys or guitar guys?
Whoa. Okay.
Those, because you know what I'm saying. Everybody knows a car guy and everybody knows the guitar guy, and they both get very into their cars and guitars. Now, I will say the person that is more insufferable than both of those guys are Gym Bro. Super. Now,
sure.
So here's the thing. There's a difference, though, between going to the gym and being gym guy. Okay. I very much enjoy people who go to the gym. I go to the gym. I work out. Dude, you should go to the gym. You should work out. You should become healthier. You should, treat your body with respect. You should, we want to live longer. We only get one shot at this thing, right? Be healthy. I support that. I'm just not a big, I don't really get as interested though into the people who talk about my amino acids and the breaking down of proteins and the type of supplements and different acetanes and whatnot I need to put in my body to get better gains, bro.
If you're going to spout off that data about my body, you better be able to do a pull-up on command.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to if a guy, I've had people talk to me about fitness and all of the supplemental guys, right? Charles goes, supplement guys are insufferable. I've had the supplement guys talk to me. Okay. And if you are jacked, if you're cock diesel, if you're built like an S brick house, you have my full attention. Okay. But if you're supplement guy and acid guy and vitamin guy, and you're telling me how to live my life, but you're only slightly more built than I am, then I'm going to think you're a joke. Okay. I
get what you're saying.
If you're man, you look like you're on the Husker football team, I got you. You and me right here. If you just look like you're a slightly more advanced intramural football player, I'm not going to listen to you. Poll question: guitar guys or car guys?
It's up at Middays with Matt. Got a little breaking news.
Yes, please.
It's not much, but you did mention Omaha softball in action. That game has gone final.
All right.
It is Omaha's 6th perfect game since 2000.
Whoa, they threw a perfect game?
Yes, Omaha softball defeats Kennesaw State today 7-0.
Congrats. Who threw the perfect game?
Great question, Matt. I was hoping you didn't ask that.
I think it might be. Okay, so it was a combined perfect game because they brought in Taylor Daniel.
Okay, Groff was the starter, I believe.
Okay,
Maddie. I'm sorry, I'm bad with kids' names. Medea.
No, I think it's Maddie.
She doesn't look like a Medea.
Have you met a Medea? Poll question.
Tyler Perry. I think we've all met a Medea.
There's a lot of. We don't do a poll question. Poll question Thursdays, by the way, was supposed to be the things, but now we're just back into being.
I'm back into it, man.
Yeah,
I'm just.
Whose name's on the show, Josh?
Matt, half of yours.
Half of mine. So it's only 25% of my show. Chris Rock Guy, by the way, on What Kind of Guy Are You on Middays with Matt on the Twitter page.
That was from Seth. Thank you, Seth.
We're having fun here today because it's almost the weekend. There's almost no better day than Friday.
You're not working today. Neither are we. Okay?
You're not working today. Frankly, we don't call this work. We just call this enjoyment and entertainment. We get to talk about sports and hang out with the people that we enjoy. So
there's no one in the hallway to make sure we're working today.
Are we really working?
Yeah.
We're just watching speed skating right now.
I mean, I guess that's on me to make everyone work hard, but I'm not going to.
You are the program director. You are in complete control of the work ethic that goes on the station and the quality of content in which we have.
Look, after us, Nick Grimm's going to be in this room by himself. producing unsportsmanlike
Whoa,
conduct.
that was Josh
Hey,
Peterson.
whoa, no, your words, not mine.
Isn't going to come to the office?
I never said anything.
Whoa, I bet he went on a run in this weather, but he can't come to work.
I advocate for the safety of my teammates.
I don't.
But everyone else did come into work today.
Yeah, thank you. There you go. I did drive into work today. Did I kind of spin for 1 second?
Oh, whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
Were there two cars that were just stuck in the middle of Dodge and kind of like what looked like a little snow square? Absolutely. Was it kind of terrifying? You bet. Did I nearly hit a car? But I'm here. I am here. And so are you. We're so happy that you are here to listen to us. Got a lot to talk to you about today. College basketball, one incredible slate that we have this weekend. We'll talk to you all about it, tell you what to watch for, tell you what the exciting matchups are going to be. The Teddy Bridgewater bill got passed in Florida today. It's a bill that allows college coaches to support student athletes with their own money up to $15,000. We'll just have a quick conversation about that. What impact could that have on Florida high school football, and is that something that maybe more states across the country are going to implement across high school sports to allow high school coaches to use more of their own personal money to support their athletes? And we're going to have a quick update here. There was a great breakaway goal in this Finland-Canada game, and Finland was already up 1-0. So I thought that, hey, they were just showing the replay.
Whoa.
No. Finland is up 2-0 right now against Canada. The Finns
second period.
The Finns came into this tournament as firmly the fourth team in the Olympics. And a lot of people expected Sweden to come out of their bracket. That was not the case. The Finns came out of that one, and they are taking it to the Canadians, who, by the way, nearly lost to the Chechians. And I think people just kind of thought, oh, that might have been a fluky game for Canada. No, Finland is taking it to them. They're even in shots right now, and they have possessed the puck to the Canadian zone for a good 3 straight minutes now after scoring their last goal to make it 2-0. So Team Canada, which is widely considered one of the greatest rosters ever created basically in hockey history, currently in a hole with 14 minutes left to play in the second period. The Americans play Slovakia later today at 2:10 p.m. That's when the puck will be dropped. Slovakia has had a magical run in this tournament. Not a lot of people anticipated that they would be a team potentially playing for a medal. Their goaltender has been absolutely phenomenal for them this Olympics. And so we will see who will be in the Olympic final by the end of today. But as of right now, Finland might be on the verge of upsetting, one of the bigger upsets in Olympic hockey history against Canada. We'll give you an update. By the way, shout out USA women's hockey. What a game yesterday.
A beautiful 3-on-3 overtime.
Stop it.
Really came to fruition.
I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that it's not entertaining. It's incredibly entertaining. All right. That was never the conversation I was having. The conversation I was having is it's a completely different game, and it should not determine the Olympic champion. But
also,
it did yesterday.
Just very quickly, want to give you your flowers while it's pertinent to do so. You were right. In Team Olympic sports,
thank you.
Winning a bronze is better than being handed a silver at the end of your loss.
Thank you. Thank you. Those Swiss players looked so happy to be there.
Yep.
They were all smiles. They were all incredible. They were elated. And Team Canada looked like they wanted to jump in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
They were so sad. I told you. I told everybody. Not really, though. I said in general, I didn't specify team sports. You are giving me a little bit too much credit there.
But that's what you meant.
I meant all athletes. I meant everything.
Wow, okay.
I meant everything. I even meant individual sports. I'll take a partial credit there. So I got a lot for the show to you today. We'll go ahead. We'll take a break real quick, and then we'll give you the full breakdown of what college basketball might look like this weekend. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll give you a little bit of a breakdown of what was said at the press conferences of Matt Rule, of Rob Orch, and Dana Holgerson. Then we'll be joined by Brian Christopherson as well, and he'll give us his insights at 11:30 about what he saw at the pressers. Because as always, first row to the left, second chair, Brian Christopherson was there asking all the questions and taking all the info. We'll give you all of that coming up here on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Great week of sports ahead. Already a great start to the week of sports, especially if you're an Omaha softball fan. A perfect game thrown by the Mavericks, a combined perfect game. It's the sixth perfect game Omaha's had since 2000. Also, perfect game to complete their perfect record, 6-0 to start the year. Their first game today was at 8 a.m. against Kennesaw State. They will play later today at 1:30 against Furman. So Omaha softball, they play a power conference opponent next week in Arkansas on February 26th. But they have 5 games. Kennesaw State, Furman later today. Then tomorrow they'll take on Nichols at 6:30. And then they will take on Troy. And then on Sunday they will play Kennesaw State once again. That game will be at 9 a.m. Nebraska softball also in action today. They take on number 13 South Carolina at 12 p.m. So that's only about an hour away until first pitch. We've got some Olympic hockey on right now. It's a snow day and also not a working day for some people as well. If you're a Chick-fil-A employee, I wanted my chicken minis, dude. What are we?
Whoa.
Like I wanted my honey biscuits. What were we doing on 70 on Dodge and Rose Bumpkin, where that Chick-fil-A is, where it's got like the most inconvenient parking lot to driveway ratio that I've seen, or drive-through ratio that I've seen. It's just a very inconvenient parking lot to then how you have to maneuver to like get in there. It's not a very big fan of it. They were closed. It's not a Sunday.
Really?
I mean, what are we doing here? Oh, Chris has a great YouTube chat.
Hi, Chris.
Chris writes, Matt, for further proof, look at state wrestling podiums. Chances you will see bigger smiles from the left side, 5th, 3rd, and 1st, than the right side, 2nd, 4th, and 6th. Should that be my bit now? I just take a bunch of pictures from wrestling podiums and I tweet them out.
Oh,
I mean, the state wrestling. We actually should ask Austin Jacobsen that. Do you find that 1st, 3rd, and 5th are often way more happy than 2nd, 4th, and 6th? Ending on a win better than ending on a loss. Hot take from Matt McMaster. Do you know what's a hot take from Matt? Not a hot take from Matt McMaster. College basketball, awesome this weekend. A lot of really good games. A lot of games that matter from a tournament perspective. A lot of games that matter from a historical perspective. A lot of games that matter from a conference standing perspective. Let's break that all down right now. From a seeding perspective, and a conference standing perspective, the game of the week is obviously Michigan versus Duke. Okay, obviously that's the game everyone's going to be watching at 5:30 on Saturday on ESPN. All right, that's appointment television. If you're a college basketball fan, that's the game where you're either saying, we're not doing anything, I'm sitting in my own couch and I'm watching this game, or you're telling your buddies, hey, meet me at DJ's. Hey, meet me at Let It Fly. Hey, meet me at our favorite bar. We're watching this game together, okay? But from like a stakes perspective, right? Like, sure, it will go a long way in determining the number one overall seed, but Michigan isn't like none of these guys are leaving the number one overall seed line unless they get like blown out by 30 points, maybe. But from what we expect in this game, where Michigan is a 2.5-point favorite, it'll be close. It'll be tightly contested. It'll be a ton of fun to watch. But the stakes of it is like, all right, number one overall seed, that's cool, but both these teams still going to probably end up being a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament anyway. I think maybe not the bigger game in terms of basketball and in terms of matchup, but a bigger game in terms of seeding and a bigger game in terms of conference standings. It's Arizona at Houston.
You're correct, Matt.
I mean, this is Michigan, Duke, awesome.
Bigger brands. It's going to be more fun, more eyeballs.
But if we're talking about stakes and what is going to be coupled into like college basketball,
relatively insignificant.
Yeah, it is. This one is not. This Arizona-Houston game, first off, with UConn's loss, like Houston is very much knocking at the door of being a number one seed. They are the top 2 seed according to Bracket Matrix. Connecticut is the last 1 seed right now after their loss to Creighton, according to Bracket Matrix. UConn has already fallen to 2 on plenty of Bracket Matrix projections. They've actually fallen as low as 3 on a couple of some. Now, I don't agree with that, but like they are very much bordering that line. Houston is the next 1 seed on a lot of people's brackets after UConn falls down to 2. If Houston goes ahead and defeats Arizona, it solidifies them as, all right, they are going to take that 1 seed. And honestly, if they go ahead and they beat Arizona, I don't think they're the last 1 seed. I think they jump to being the 3rd 1 seed behind Duke and Michigan. And then Arizona, you would have to look at and say, I don't know, man. This team who started the year undefeated, got all the way out to 23-0, lost to Kansas without Darryn Peterson, lost to Texas Tech in overtime, beat BYU over the weekend, on Wednesday. Now, granted, didn't have Richie Saunders. That's a team that would have lost 3 of its last 4 games. And then you go and look back on, what Arizona did to go 23-0. Granted, they had an incredible non-con, right? Their November and December was great. But from December 16th all the way up until they played Kansas, they had only played a 13th ranked BYU team. That was like the only true quality opponent they had played and beaten. And so if they were to lose this game against Houston, it'd be 3 of 4 losses. 3 of those losses coming to quality opponents. They'd be slipping a little bit, and you would look at Houston and Kelvin Sampson and Kingston Flemings and say, wow, man, this team is looking like the team that was oh so close to winning the national championship last year. And so this is a big game in terms of that regard, the seeding perspective. But look at the standings perspective. 2 teams tied at the top of the Big 12 right now. Arizona 11-2, Houston 11-2. The winner of this game would take sole possession of the top seed in the Big 12 standings. And then let's add on to this Big 12 flavor, right? Because we talked about, weeks ago, we said, hey, this has the makings of being a race till the very end. Iowa State plays BYU in the weekend as well. And so Iowa State, who was plus 700 about 3 weeks ago to win the Big 12 standings, going to ask me how I know that number.
Yeah, you remembered that, huh?
Well, maybe I got a little scratch on it. Matt McFuture's over here. They play BYU, a BYU team that, is struggling as of late. They're 7-6 in the conference. They lost one of their best players in Richie Saunders. They are losers of 5 of their last 7. Their only 2 wins coming against Baylor and Colorado. If they were to lose this game at home to Iowa State, it would put them bordering the line of not only being unranked, but also they're going to have to fight for seeding between UCF and West Virginia. And then on top of that, Iowa State would then catapult into being 11-3, 1 game behind Houston. There's
4 teams within 1 game of each other in the Big 12 right now, and a 5th, Texas Tech, being 2 games back. So wide open. And on top of that too, like you go ahead and you look at Houston's schedule after this Arizona game, it's not hard. They play Kansas at Kansas. That's a tough game. Sure.
But the last 3 games of the year, Colorado, Baylor, Oklahoma State. So Houston, is probably going to only be given 1 opportunity to truly slip up here, especially if they win this game against Arizona. So should be a great one. If you're a Big 12 basketball fan, you're just a fan of college basketball in general, should be a fun one in that conference. Let's talk about an underrated game on Sunday at 3:00. 2 teams that have been trending in the right direction for some time now. And Iowa was looking for that signature win. They got that against Nebraska. Wisconsin is a team that has multiple signature wins at this point. Michigan State, and Illinois. They're ranked 24th in the country. These 2 teams play at the Kohl Center at 3:00 on FS1 on Sunday. Iowa at 24 Wisconsin. You're going to see a showdown between 2 of the best guards in the country, John Blackwell for Wisconsin, and then for Iowa, Bennett Sturtz. Can Iowa get some support around Sturtz against Wisconsin, and can Wisconsin continue just this offensive onslaught that they've had over the last couple of weeks? It'll be very interesting to see both these teams well coached, can have a ton of talent, and have 2 guards that can really score the crap out of the basketball. Let's get in the Big Ten. Big game tonight. Big game on, I believe this game is tonight. I want to double check here. Yeah, Indiana at Purdue tonight.
That is tonight, Big Fox.
Here's why this is big. Purdue has lost 3 games at Mackey Arena this season. It's the first time since 2019, 2020 that they've lost 3 games at home. Purdue is a team that came into the season, the number 1 ranked team in the country, preseason number 1. They brought back Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Renn. They added Oscar Clough. They got really good size, but just especially Renn and Lawyer just have not really played up to the billing and haven't taken the progression that you thought they would heading into their veteran seasons. Lawyer being a senior. They're still good. They're still really good. And there's no denying that. You've seen what the best of Purdue can look like. They just haven't been what you thought they would be. And for Indiana, a team that has already beaten Purdue at home in Assembly Hall a couple of weeks ago, this is a very big game for the Hoosiers and Darren DeVries. Right now, according to Bracket Matrix, Indiana on the 10 seed line. They're 32nd in the net ranking right now. This is nut cutting time for Indiana. This is the type of win in late February against a ranked opponent and a Q1 opportunity with you being a 10 seed. This is the type of win that will separate you from the rest of the pack. This is the type of win that gets you off of the bubble, into being a little bit more comfortable when you look at the rest of the outlook of your season and say, hey, let's play for more seeding. All right, now we're a 9. Let's try and sneak up to the 8. Let's try and sneak up to the 7. What can we do the rest of the year? You lose this game, you blow this opportunity to have a Q1, A-type win against Purdue at Mackey Arena where you're an 11.5-point underdog. It's an opportunity blown. I mean, this is a massive game for the Hoosiers to go ahead and establish themselves as, hey, we are an NCAA tournament team. And you look at the rest of the schedule for Indiana, they'll play Michigan State at home, so that's a Q1 opportunity, and Ohio State on the road. That will be a potential Q1 opportunity as well. But then Northwestern and Minnesota, this is your prime opportunity to establish yourself as an NCAA tournament team. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out tonight. If you're still watching Miami of Ohio go undefeated, 26-0, they are
grinding tape every single
twice
a week.
Are
Yeah.
you?
Oh, yeah.
My God, it's like Maction. Miami of Ohio is 26-0. They have an opportunity to go 27-0 tonight. They're an 8.5-point favorite against Bowling Green. So that's your weekend of college basketball. Should be a good one. Coming up next, we talk about Husker football, baby. Spring football begins Saturday, the 21st. The men were at the podium. What did the men have to say? We'll talk about it next here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
It's been the Olympic of tips, if you will, in hockey. I wasn't referring to the 10,000 condom story when I said that.
Oh, okay. You're about the games.
Yes. That was a good one. That was a good one. Sometimes you got to pat yourself in the back.
No one's going to do it for you.
Clearly. Sam Reinhart tipped in goal for Canada. So 2-1 is the lead for Finland. I feel like when you're just playing this Canadian hockey team, I don't think you should feel comfortable unless you have a 4-goal lead. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. So we'll continue to monitor it, continue to watch it, continue to talk about it. Much like Finland versus Canada, that's what we will do with spring football and the Huskers.
Continue to talk about it.
Continue to talk about it. Continue to monitor it. We are not at the practices. Breaking news. We just happen to know some people who might be at the practices. And we also happen to just read people who also know people who are at the practices, who write about people who are at the practices, who tell them what is seen at the practices. You following?
I think so.
Spring football with the limited access that we get to see these guys actually play just has really become the he said, she said, they saw, they watched, they said this type deal, which we're totally okay with because it's football in February. Okay? If you're saying like, Matt, football didn't end or football just ended, why are you really hankering that much to like talk about football again and see football again? Yes, I am. Yesterday was a Thursday, and I said, you know what? I wouldn't mind a Thursday night football game right now.
Whoa.
Yes. Was I kind of hankering for a Panther Cardinal Thursday night football game announced by Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit? You're damn right I was.
The Super Bowl was 12 days ago.
I wanted to see the battle of tiny quarterbacks on my television. I wanted to see two miniature men named Kyler Murray and Bryce Young just barely peek over 6'7" offensive linemen and whip the ball all over the place. Whether or not they were going to land in the hands of their receivers or not was not my problem. I wasn't worried about that. I just wanted to watch football. But yesterday, the men talked. Matt Rule spoke at the podium. Rob Ort spoke at the podium. Dana Holgerson spoke at the podium. I have some thoughts. Do you have a particular coach that you would like me to talk about first?
Let's start at the top and work our way down.
Okay.
Matt Rule.
I respect his ability to admit when he might have made mistakes. I don't think he does the best job of handling some things in the moment. Like when they lost to Minnesota, I wasn't a big fan of like, hey guy, this is our record in November. This is our record in October. How many times has that happened before? I didn't like the whole a big fan of thing with USC where it's like, oh, this is a primetime game on NBC at night against a ranked opponent. How many times has that happened before?
It's on TV.
I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of him yelling at everybody, not yelling, but very emphatically telling people that the program was dead before he got there, right? After his third season didn't go the way he wanted it to go. I wasn't a fan of how he handled those things in those moments, but I am very much a fan of, and he's done this multiple times where he kind of puts the hand up and says, hey man, like, could have done this better. We should have done this better. Or these are the adjustments we are going to make. Or these are things that we can't do. Or these are things that we're just not going to do because we know they're not going to work. I appreciate that. And because I think that, especially in this head coaching industry, that there are just some head coaches that aren't willing to admit that. They aren't willing to put the hand up. They aren't willing to admit to some of the mistakes that they've made because it's hard not to have an ego when you hold a position that Matt Rule has. And I don't, see Matt Rule at press conferences and think that you have to have an ego to have this type of job. You do. You have to be incredibly self-confident. You have to believe in the process. You have to believe in what you're doing, but you can't allow that to fully take over your job. And there are moments where you have to admit, hey, I made a mistake. And he did that yesterday, and it wasn't like he fully said it, but he kind of alluded to some things that he did in the past and maybe some things that he pushed in the past that he's no longer going to push. Listen to this quote that he had yesterday on leadership.
I think, in the ecosystem of a football team and a football locker room, you can't manufacture leadership. I think sometimes when you do and you try to force it as a coach, people resent it because they know that guy's really not a leader. So, I think Anthony's deferred to, TJ and deferred to the other guys in terms of, hey, I'm just trying to learn my way here. And, we'll let that evolve naturally as the spring goes on and into the second phase of spring training.
You can't force guys. Can't force leadership on guys. Can't force guys to be led by others. And I got that vibe. And to me, that was a conversation and maybe a lesson that he learned from the Dylan Raiola experience. Because he would get at that podium and we were all there. He would say, well, Dylan's playing great. And Dylan is doing this. And, I love Dylan. And he even talked about one time, told Dylan, how great is it that we have this relationship where we can, be in this golf cart together and we can hang out and we can be this close. And he even admitted one time at the podium where he goes, I told our guys in the meeting that it's not Dylan's fault. It's not 15's fault. It's not, he's not doing anything wrong. Our quarterback's playing our butt off. Right. I mean, he communicated through the media and even at times communicated that he was communicating to his team, that how good of a leader Dylan is. I mean, he talked about how good of a leader Dylan is and how he's evolved in the leadership role. And I by no stretch of the imagination was Dylan Raiola a bad teammate. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not the case whatsoever. He was not a bad teammate. He was a good teammate. It was a fine teammate. But he wasn't the heart and soul of the team, and it was very much how Rule talked about Dylan. He very much wanted his 5-star superstar quarterback that is in front of the cameras and in front of the lights and, who had the national spotlight to be the face of the program. But you can't necessarily tell people, hey guys, this is the face of the program. You have to follow it. Right. There are way more things that go into leadership than being a great player or being a popular player. Right. It's see this on teams all the time, especially in hockey. The best player isn't always the captain. Just because you're the most talented player, just because you're the best player, just because you're the top dog, doesn't necessarily mean you're the best leader. And I think it was important for Matt Rule to say, look, we're not forcing leadership on anybody here. If Anthony Calandria is going to be the captain, if he's going to be the leader, if he's going to be a dude that people can follow, Anthony's got to do that himself. And Rule didn't say, "Oh, I was forcing people to lead Dylan," but I just think you could tell through the press conferences and how Rule talked about Dylan and how Rule admitted he talked about Dylan to his team that was, he wanted Dylan to have that role. You got to
seems a little different.
You got to earn that role. You got to earn that role now. And that's what he's saying with Anthony Calandria. If Anthony's going to be a leader, can't just force it upon him. You can't just say, hey, guys, that's our quarterback. Follow that guy into battle. No. Guy's got to go on and earn it. And I think, like I said, it's not Matt Rule telling you admittingly, hey, I made a mistake with how I, communicated how I felt about Dylan or how I, tried to put Dylan in the front of the room when it came to the team. It's not him saying that. But it's through other actions and through his other words that he's communicating to you, like, no, this is how we do things now. And I think that's even more important, right? I would honestly, rather Matt Rule have the response that he had in terms of Anthony Calandria and leadership and the changing of the portal than him saying, oh, I might have, forced some things on the past. No, all you got to say in that situation is, yeah, if Anthony wants to be a leader, Anthony's got to earn it. I can't just say, hey, Anthony's your leader now. No, he's got to go out and get that. And I think that was a really, really good answer from him. I listened to that answer and I nodded my head and I go, okay, there might have been a little bit of a reference to something that happened in the past. There might have been, if you kind of put the dots together, if you read in between the lines, right? If you've been following this program, you can kind of, you can pin the tail on the donkey and say, okay, he's probably referring to the fact that, might have been a little bit of forced leadership with Dylan. Now he's referring to now, hey, the guy who now sits in that person's chair, we're not going to force it upon anybody. He's got to go out and earn it. That's Matt Rule as a coach. For whatever you want to say about Rule and whatever opinion that you have about him, I've always believed and I've always gotten the vibe that he is a coach that is willing to grow. Like, he is a coach that is willing to learn. He is a coach that understands that he isn't perfect. He is a coach that is willing to take the next steps, right? He talks about developing his players and developing his coaches. But I think one of the words that he said when he talked about Dana, calling plays fearlessly, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. One of the things he said is like, we can look in the past, but we can't live in the past. A coach that is willing to look in the past but not dwell on on their mistakes, a person that is willing to reflect on the past but not dwell on the things that they didn't do well, that's a person who's willing to grow. That's a person who's willing to get better. That's a person who wants to get better. And I've always gotten that vibe from him. And that's, that's not necessarily like, oh, Husker football needs that. I just think you need that in a program in general. All right, let's talk about another thing too. He said. Talked about money. Talked about transfer portal. He brought up the thing again where someone just asked him, or our friend Caleb Henry just asked him straight up, like, how do you feel like you did in the portal with the resources that you had?
I was told resources wouldn't be a problem.
And Matt, very, very smart, kind of a politician answer, goes, we've never had more before. We've never had more. We've never had more resources before. Our pool has grown. And I go, okay, cool. And then he said, Troy's doing great. Love Troy. The work that he's done. We're not going to complain about it. I'm like, all right, there it is. You said, hey, you didn't say we have a ton of money and we're at the top. You just said, no, we've never had more money before. And I want to thank the person who gave us that money. Very smart. Then he goes, Troy's doing the work to try and get us within striking distance. That is a fine goal to have. Matt is very aware that we don't have chicken finger money or cookie money or Walmart money or Menards money or Home Depot money or oil money or any of that type of money. We wish we had Buffett money, but the only Buffett that you're getting is over at the Valentinos. Okay? You get it?
I do.
You get it? That was a buffet joke. But he understands that they don't have that money and they're not going to get to that top. But to say striking distance is a good goal. The interesting thing that he said, though, was, and he didn't say it outright, but he basically alluded to, people got more money now. Like we got more money, but those teams got more money too. And while we got closer, they also started pulling away. And some people get offended or don't like it when he brings up specific numbers. I like the honesty. He goes, look, there's $40-50 million rosters in college football right now, which is, dude, that's so much money. That's so much money. I mean, $40-50 million rosters, that means that guys are averaging $500,000 on your roster, essentially. That the average salary of a college football player on that roster, if it's a $50 million roster, is $500,000. Dude, literally 3 years ago, $500,000 for O'Shawn Mathis was like, oh my God. It was around. Now you're telling me that teams are playing around in that area. That's crazy. And I don't mind him saying that because that's just the truth. That's just what's going on. So I think that was an interesting comment. Hey, we've never had more before. Thanking my athletic director for helping me out. We're going to try and keep him within striking distance at the same time while we're getting better. So are they. And I don't think this conversation is going away. Like, this talk about getting more resources and getting more money and growing, the pool and having more cash to compete with some of these teams. Like, I don't think this was like a 1 year deal. I don't think this was a one press conference incident where he goes ahead and says, oh, we need more to compete. Like, I think this is going to be a year to year type deal. I think every year we're going to talk about growing the pool a little bit more, getting more resources, being able to keep stride with some of these teams. The bar for their goal, like their goal, the goal that they've established is this. And he referenced baseball, which I like. You're not gonna, if a team spends $50 million on players, you can spend $40 million and still beat them. Okay, you can spend $35 million and still beat them. But there's a line. And he referenced it, and he referenced Dan Lanning, because Dan Lanning said this. Dan Lanning said, look, just because you spend money doesn't mean you're going to win games. But if you don't spend money, you're not going to, right? You still got to spend it. And so whatever that line is in terms of enough to not necessarily match them, but enough to compete with them, that line is going to continue to move. And Matt Rule, in kind of that very subliminal way, when he was like, well, the richer teams are kind of getting richer, is explaining to people, while they're going up, we got to continue to go up too. And we got to continue to find funds too. And we got to continue to find a way to be in that striking spot, which in theory, having a coach like Matt Rule, who in theory is rooted in player development, is very good. If you have a team that is spending $50 million and you're a team that's spending $35 billion, how are you going to make that $15 million deficit up? You're going to make it up with advanced evaluation, advanced recruiting, and advanced development. And that's what this always boils down to for Nebraska. If Nebraska is ever going to compete with the top teams in the country and the top teams in the conference, it's not going to be by spending more than Ohio State or spending more than Oregon or spending more than Texas Tech or spending more than insert, Miami, insert team name here. It's not going to be by spending as much or more than them. It's going to be by spending enough to then allow your development booster, if you will, get you to the point where you can compete with them, which is why development will always be on the forefront when it comes to the evaluation of the health of the program for Nebraska football, in my opinion. And it's also why maybe I wouldn't place myself in being in the overly positive or overly optimistic camp, because the development of players hasn't gotten to a level hasn't gotten to a high enough level yet. Development isn't linear. Just because one player gets better one year does not guarantee they're going to get better the next year, right? And maybe some of these guys not getting as good as you thought they would in year 2 is actually just a delayed massive boost that could come in year 3. That could happen. That could occur. But the health of the program, in my eyes, will always be based on how well are the players developing. And that is what is going to cut the gap between money. I think Matt Rule did a very good job yesterday of communicating that in terms of, hey, we've never had more money and we're improving resources and we're very happy about that. But keep in mind, the top is getting farther away too. This wasn't I'm gonna flirt with Penn State in order to get more money type deal. No. This is the thing that consistently has to happen. We consistently have to add a little bit more to the pile to keep pace with the people who are getting farther away, or who are continually having higher and higher salary caps and having higher and higher costing rosters. That's the reality of Nebraska football. That's the reality of Matt Rule's job. That's the reality of Troy Danon's job. And that's just kind of the reality of everything now. You got to keep up with the Joneses. And you got to do that from raising more money. And that's just going to be a theme year in and year out at this point. And I don't know if people are fully ready to realize that or have that conversation, but that's where we are. You have to continue to get more money to keep up with the teams, because they are getting more money too. And you've got to find ways, and you got to find loopholes, and you got to find creative avenues to get better players, or to spend your money in a more specific way, or to maximize your resources, because that's how you're going to keep up with them. That's how you're going to close that gap. You got to get creative. I kind of loved his answer when somebody asked him, hey, if there was a training level camp player in the NFL who could be on your roster, would you take them? And he just goes, yeah, I would. I want to win. What do you would you not do that? I'm sorry, sir. If you had a high caliber player that could potentially be on your team and you're a coach in my position that has the expectations that I have when it comes to wins and losses, would you not take that guy that would help you? I would. I kind of love the answer. I loved his honesty. So it was a pretty good presser from that. We'll talk about what Rob said. We'll talk about Dana said later in the show. But coming up next, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who was in one of the chairs at the press conferences yesterday from these coaches, Mr. Brian Christopherson, will join us next year on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
We're doing it live. Swear it, we're doing it live. I'll write it. Our version of Bill O'Reilly, Brian Christopherson, who's currently in the hallway of a Fred Hoiberg press conference, who says, I don't care. I don't care we're at a presser. I have a responsibility to come on Middays with Matt. So we'll do it live here on 1620 The Zone. It's from 247 Sports. It's Brian Christopherson. BC, you're the man. You know that? You're the man.
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly.
All right, yeah. Well, Fred hasn't come in yet, so he might. I'm not in the press conference. I'm in the media room, so I'm not going to disrupt it. So it won't be too awkward, I don't think.
I was going to say, if Fred, walked by you, maybe you just gave him the phone. We can have a little one-on-one chat. Now that, not that Fred's a better get than you are, but we just have.
No, I think he definitely would be a better get. That would be good radio.
That'd be incredible radio.
If we did that, yeah.
An impromptu conversation. I don't know if some bosses would be very happy about that, though. Let's talk about some bosses that talked yesterday, and particularly three of them: the boss of Nebraska football, the boss of Nebraska football's offense, and the boss of Nebraska football's defense. Matt Rule, Rob Orich, and Dana Holgorsen all spoke yesterday. BC, you were in the room. You were in the room, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I was at my second seat to the right of the podium there.
Everybody knows. Second seat to the left, row one. That's where Brian Christopherson sits. That's a known thing here on 1620 The Zone. I want to hear it from you because it's. I kind of took this away, but I want to know if you did. Like, what were kind of the vibes of those three press conferences, and were they very different in your opinion?
Well, I'll start with my biggest takeaway, and maybe I can work to that answer.
Okay.
So Rob Orich, it was his first time in that setting, and he's a really good communicator. It's been said, that's been one of the keys to his success, at his previous stops. And a presser is just a presser, but I thought he had a very good command and confidence wherever the conversation steered, whether it was like, coaching at smaller schools or like even kind of changed I probably didn't use the right wording in a question when I mentioned like Chambliss and McDougal, who came from San Diego State, could be like kind of mentors to some of the other guys. He's like, I wouldn't call them mentors. I like how he answered. I like how he answered that because he was saying like, yeah, they get, they're good players and they know some stuff, but they got to earn it like these other guys. And so point being, I just thought like wherever the question came from, he took the right route for being in that setting for the first time as the leader of the black shirts. So I don't know if I found them all. I think they all were a little different in their own way. It was interesting. I thought just big takeaways like what Matt Rule saying of Dana Holgorsen's offense, like the part about just, I want him to be fearless, as a play caller. And I think the in between the line stuff, which isn't really in between the line stuff, is like you've got QBs now, especially with Calandria, who are more mobile, and all that should be on the table now with whether it's run or pass, whatever the situation. There's a little bit more maybe at his disposal than there was previously. And so that was interesting. And I actually thought, Matt, it was an informative press conference in the sense that, like, you don't usually get this a few days before spring ball, and you don't want to overdo it. But, like, Rob Orich mentioned, like, some guys who could be the nickelback spot. Like, he mentioned Jameer Khan. And you heard about how Elijah Pritchett has turned a corner, like, and just, like, being more vocal and stuff like that. And Dana said Luke Sorensen is a true freshman, is a guy who he'd see as being tough not to play some snaps this year already. And so I thought, actually, for what it was, 2 days before the football's on the field, there was actually some interesting stuff in there.
And this is something I'm going to talk about later in the show, but I want to see if you're matching me here, or maybe you got a different tone from it. Did that Rob Orich interview press conference seem a little bit like a Tony White presser? It seemed like a little bit like a Tony White presser in the regard that it was a lot about the system in particularly.
Yeah, it was, and he's confident in that system. I think he knows the challenge ahead, but it's football's football sort of deal. And as Rule said about Orich, and it's the reason why he brought him in here. He knows what he wants to do. There's no gray area in like his plan. They've got a specific idea. And so that's where, if you want some optimism right now, and I'm not telling everybody, don't go grab a jug of Kool-Aid or anything. Nobody's doing that. We all know where we're at right now with Nebraska football. But I would say that's a point where if you're like, okay, for an hour on a Friday, I'd like to hope a little bit about what this season can be. You can think about, like, I think they have a specific direction they want to go on the defensive side of the ball with coaches that know what they want to do there, since some of those guys have been together. And last year, I do not think that was the case. I think they were trying to, jam the old square peg in the round hole sort of thing.
Last couple of years, I think we've come into a season and we were excited about a wide receiver room and then got a little disappointed, right? The Billy Kemp year and, the Marcus Washington year. And then you follow that up with Nair and Banks. And then you follow that up with Hunter and Key. And, Hunter had a good year, but Key, I don't think fully lived up to the building. It's been 3 straight years now, really, of, you bring in some new wide receivers and you think that's going to be a strength, and it's not a weakness, but it doesn't live up to your expectations. Yesterday, though, this season, we haven't had a ton of that conversation about the wide receiver room, but from Dana Holgerson's mouth to somebody's ears, he's very happy about that group. What is your take on this wide receiver room? Is this the rare instance where we're underrating it and it could have a bigger impact?
I think there's reason to think they can be pretty good. And then people don't have to say that in a whisper. I mean, we know that Isaiah Hunter, he put up numbers and changed some games last year, even with, kind of subpar or QB. He had an injured QB at the end in Latif, but really the passing game sort of went away, but he still had 600 plus yards and he won 50-50 balls and all that. So you feel good about him. Corey's going to go out there and just bust his butt. And I do think sometimes he was hampered a little bit by some of the hits he took early in the season. And I wondered if he was always 100%. But yeah, there was no question yesterday. What came across was how juiced Holgerson was about Quasi Gilmer to get him out of UCLA. And it makes sense because if you have a question mark about that group, I think it's sometimes how they've been able to get away to beat man coverage and have those man beater type guys. And Gilmore was one of the better available guys in the portal that can do that. And so he's a consistent guy who, if you look at his numbers, he would get 3 or 4 catches per game. He wasn't like a 100+ yard per game. Like, he didn't have any 100+ games really, but he can be consistent, and he can be a guy that I think a quarterback ideally could find as like a security blanket on some of those money down situations. So they do look good on paper there, because there's that 3 at the top that we just mentioned. And then Quinn Clark's a guy I think everybody thinks can take a step, and you're interested in like Keelan Smith and Jeremiah Jones and Cortez Mills. So there's about 9 guys that you could name off where you could say I could see him making a play, and that's way better than it was a few years ago.
Way better. And I think the key is, especially dating back to Trey Palmer, right, has been, it's not necessarily been about finding the 2 or the 3, but they need to find a 1. And you got some guys in Hunter, Barney, and Gilmer that have shown potential at times that they could potentially be a 1. Let's talk about Nebraska basketball. How are you feeling? Just in general, how are you feeling about the team? Like, is after the losses to Purdue and Iowa, has your expectations, has your ceiling changed? Has anything really changed for you?
Maybe just slightly. I'm not panicked about about them, but they've got to answer the bell here. They've obviously there's been a little bit of a blueprint that's been put out on how to defend them. I mean, your Northwestern boys.
Thanks.
Big
win against Maryland, by the way. I know you didn't watch it, but it was a good win.
I actually did watch a little.
Whoa, you sicko!
Yeah, that is sicko behavior. Might need to take some pills for that.
Yeah, get a life, Brian. That's my job. Go ahead.
That's what my wife would say. My
Go
wife
ahead.
always walks in when I'm watching a game and asks, "Is this live?" Because I watch sometimes games that aren't really like going on at that time, an old game, and she's like, "Is this actually going on?" And so if it's an actual game that's happening at that moment, she gives me grace and usually lets me keep watching.
Before you answer the question real quick, have you ever been watching a game before and you tell your wife or someone of importance, "I'm working right now"?
Yes. I do that sometimes. And sometimes that's true. Like I
Sure.
sometimes am like going back with the husband, but sometimes it's maybe not. And I still use that.
Good. Me too. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I'm not panicked about them, but the teams have pressured Rink, and I think they've just been a little discombobulated on that end. And as Fred always says, he might be saying it right now in the room right across from us. I don't know. When teams pressure you like that, your eyes should light up, because there should be some easy buckets that you can find out of that. And this is an offense and has guys that are equipped to do that, but it's sort of been a missing link a little bit lately. The other part of this is you don't want to overreact, because this was the last 3 weeks were a part on the schedule where anybody with sense about this league and college basketball knew it was going to be a grind and there could be some tough games in there. And so, you look around college basketball. I mean, Wisconsin, for instance, Matt, they were like the flavor of the week, last week, and they went to Ohio State and lost by 17. And so this happens. There's ebbs and flows to the season, but that doesn't mean there aren't a couple concern points. And one of them is dealing with that defensive pressure. The turnovers have to disappear. They've been way too careless, I think, with the ball. And also, of course, the boards. You can't live like this in March where you're getting outdone by 10 on the offensive glass.
No, you can't. And I know physicality and toughness has definitely been a theme, and we'll continue to see if they can kind of not fight through that, but get rid of that narrative. And by the way, that narrative in a way, isn't just being made through the play. Their coach talks about being tough and being physical and making first contact.
Absolutely.
And so it's and that's what I like about Fred. He's not willing to shy away from certain things that everybody else is seeing. He doesn't deflect that. He kind of leans into it. And I think the leaning into things and leaning into being an underdog and leaning into being doubted, you don't love to be doubted, but this team is very good at leaning into that and making themselves better through it. So we'll see if they're able to get back on track against Penn State. You got a presser to go to. We appreciate you so much taking time out of that to talk to us here on Friday at 11:30. We will talk to you soon, my friend.
All right. Thanks a lot, Matt. Always enjoy being on with you.
Always enjoy talking to you, BC. Brian Christopherson of 247 Sports coming up next. It's a snow day, but everybody still has lunch around this time. It's 11:45. That means the odd news is coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Well, in classic Canadian fashion, they played like crap for the first 34 minutes of this game, and then they're going to probably end up winning it. Before we get to the odd news, congratulations is in order to Fred Hoiberg. He's on the Naismith Coach of the Year watch list after the phenomenal job that he's done this season. If they end the season undefeated, maybe he'll end up getting that award, but depending on what Dusky May and Michigan does this year. 2-2 is our score in the Canada-Finland game. It's the odd news with Josh Odson. Josh, what you got for me, baby?
This Bill Simmons guy needs to be stopped.
He's
I know a lot of you love him.
He's having a renaissance. He is making a comeback that really only can be akin to like Jordan returning for the next three-peat. Like this is now the break has been a little bit longer, but Bill was at the top of his game about like 7-8 years ago, and then he kind of, I don't want to say he disappeared, but he definitely had his, he was kind of in the Jim Rome, Dan Patrick area where he had his fans, but wasn't growing an audience as much as he used to. Our guy's back. What did our guy do?
The last like 3 months, I've seen a ton of clips.
It's been a Hall of Fame run. Dude.
I don't follow him. I don't listen to the podcast. I liked his writing. I liked like the earlier days of the podcast, but I just don't have time for it. Like 3-hour podcasts anymore. So I had to cut it out. But he's got the big Netflix deal, so he's a content machine. And with content and success comes advertisements.
Yes, it does.
In a recent episode of the Bill Simmons podcast, there was he did an ad read for Pepsi, immediately followed by an ad read for Coca-Cola.
Incredible.
Never before done in the history of our medium.
Incredible.
Every now and then you're like, okay, I think podcasts have done all they can do. They've interviewed presidents, presidential candidates.
Yes.
They've solved cold case murders. Like, I don't know if there's any more ground to cover in the podcast game. And then Bill Simmons shows up and does back-to-back ad reads for Pepsi and Coca-Cola.
Do you have the ad read in front of you that he did for Pepsi?
I do.
Okay, can you read it?
I
read it.
I have the last like 2 paragraphs of the ad read. I don't have the whole thing.
Read the ad, and the reason why you're going to read, we're not advertising for Pepsi. The reason why
I would if they wanted us to.
Yes, we would. Oh my God, immediately. The reason we're going to read this ad is because the ad is a bit of a knock on Coke.
Is it?
Read it.
Oh yes, it is. It is.
It's a knock on Coke. Read it.
Are you picking the zero sugar cola that you actually prefer, or are you settling for the label that you think you prefer? Go out and try Pepsi Zero Sugar today. And then right into a Coke read right after that. It's incredible.
Incredible. Incredible indeed.
Get that bag, Bill.
By the way, we have a great text from John here on the text line.
Hi, John.
I know I'm interrupting the odd news,
but
care. This has just hit me like a ton of bricks. He goes, why is Matt McCatholic trying to get some chicken on a Lenten Friday? You're totally right, John. Good thing I had a piece of pizza to start off my day.
Can y'all not eat chicken today?
It's meat. Can't have meat. It's not just steak. It's not just beef. It's not just.
I thought it was red meat. I'm sorry.
I've always taken it as meat.
No, you would know more than me.
Maybe I've always just been told no meat, which is why I had.
Do you not do fish fries?
No, I had a piece of cheese pizza today.
Okay.
But I didn't. I actually did forget. The good thing, maybe that was.
I don't want to get you in trouble with the big guy.
No. Fish fry today.
Okay.
I'm going to Shucks. It's a Shucks Friday. Come on.
Okay.
But I want to shout out John. It's the first Lenten Friday, so I haven't been locked. Now I'm locked in.
I gotta lock in.
I gotta lock in.
I got to stand in line at a church for 3.5 hours in a dank hallway.
Low key. All right. What's up next?
We go to New York, Queens to be specific, where the Mets have released their promo calendar for this upcoming baseball season. And to celebrate my birthday, on May 29th. You're going to want to know that. You're going to want to lock in on that date, man.
All right.
Among several promotions the New York Mets announced this week, Bobby Valentine Disguise Night on May 29th.
What?
Inspired by the former manager donning a eyeglasses and fake mustache after being ejected from a game in 1999, multiple years before Matt McMaster was born.
Yes, that is true. I do know the story, though.
Well, sure. First 15,000 fans in attendance at Citi Field on May 29th will be given glasses and a mustache similar to what was worn by Valentine.
I'm a big fan.
I like this. I hate the Mets with every fiber of my being. Good job, Mets.
Good job, Mets. I've never thought I would hear Josh Odson
I know.
say that.
You know, maybe there's hope for a lot of old rivals in this country of ours.
Absolutely not. I will never like the Packers. And I'm going to tell you right now.
Maybe you and Joey will get along someday.
I will never like Iowa. And I never was in a conference with Colorado or Oklahoma, but I will never like those teams either.
Yeah, I don't like Oklahoma or Colorado or Texas. I
And
respect Oklahoma.
What I mean by that, though, is that, like, you know, I came into Husker fandom and went to the school while they were a Big Ten team. I've really only ever I mean, you know, I think for more of my life, this is true. For more of my life than not, Nebraska's been a Big Ten team.
Wow. I hadn't thought of that.
I knew you would have that reaction.
Wow. Yeah, I guess it would be, wouldn't it?
15 years. And I'm 23.
You know nothing of Big 8 road trips.
Real, all the things that Bill Moose wrote about have just been theories in my mind. He's talking about.
Well, I guess it would be easier if you could drive just like 3 or 4 hours away. Yeah, sure.
It's like him talking about the great trips to Manhattan, Kansas, and Columbia, Missouri, and Lawrence, Kansas. That's all a figment of my imagination.
What if you could get in the car Saturday morning, go to the game, and drive home?
I will say this. That is something I really didn't realize with the Big Ten until it was very much brought in front of me. Like, I didn't fully, because I'm a Midwesterner. I'm so used to driving 9 hours places.
Yeah.
You know, like 10 hours is really the most I would do. So like driving 7 to Chicago or driving 4 to Iowa City or driving 5 to Minnesota, not that massive of a deal to me.
Put some sandwiches in a cooler. We're good to go.
That's fine. But when it was explained to me, like, oh wow, there were places that were only 2 hours away. I was like, oh, that's kind of convenient. What's our final odd news story of the day?
We stay in New York City, where an alarming story. Connor Happer, if you're listening, please, for the love of God, cover your ears. A nationwide survey of over 3,000 adults across the United States this month revealed that the Big Apple's notable pronunciations are dwindling in American society. That's right. The New York City accent may be disappearing.
Oh, my God. Get out of here.
Major metropolitan areas like New York City, Philadelphia, New England, further down the at-risk list, according to a survey conducted by the Word Finder. What kind of words are we talking about? How about the phrase cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee. What are you doing?
Use.
What are you doing, Jay off?
As in no, use can't leave. Exactly. These phrases have been, I don't know how. I don't have the actual survey that people were forced to answer to determine whether or not people are saying cup of coffee in the way that they used to.
Wait. Do I say cup of coffee the same way I eat cup of coffee? You got a problem with how I say it?
The more distinctive the accent sounds, the more likely people are to tuck it away, the survey finds.
Don't tuck your accent away.
Unless they're unwinding with family for a walk in the park.
A walk in the park?
I'm just reading from the article, people. I'm not trying to be offensive.
I don't think it's offensive at all. I'm honoring the people of New York by talking their language.
Meanwhile, we'll have to get John Bishop's opinion when he comes back on Monday. He's in New York City right now. He went to the Museum of Sex.
He did. The Museum of McMaster.
And the bus drove by him. I guess he didn't go.
He's in the Museum of Sex because our greatest segment.
It might be. We should get inducted. We should campaign for induction.
Screw the Burke High School Hall of Fame.
Put me in, cowards. You won't.
We have pivoted to, can we get inducted into the Sex Museum?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continue, Josh Hudson.
Meanwhile, more neutral accents such as Inland Northern, I don't know what that is, Pacific Northwest and Southwestern.
By the way, Inland Northern is just Nebraska.
Oh, no.
You guys
remain more stable in everyday conversation.
Nebraska accents, this is an actual compliment. No such thing. You guys just talk normally. Like, you guys are actually have a very, I don't know if, like, you guys had a bunch of really good speech pathologists growing up or something like that. Or
I don't know why.
Nebraska's speech programs are so advanced or something like that. But, like, you guys talk incredibly normally.
Several telemarketing companies headquarter in Omaha because of our
Is that an actual thing?
Lack of accent.
No,
yes,
seriously.
yes.
Like, you guys speak very good English.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. I'll tell you this right now. The Chicago accent is not on that list. And the reason why it's not is because it will never die. Because we grow up there and then we're all brainwashed into thinking we want to go back there somehow, even though it's not the best place to go back
an insular community.
Yes. So you want to go back there and then you want to raise a family there and marry the girl that you met when you were in sixth grade at your Catholic grade school. And then you have a bunch of Chicago sounding kids. Mm-hmm. That's what happens.
I love Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, like
that's like Philly though.
Really turning a lot of those A's into O's.
Chicago. It's yeah. Chicago.
Yeah.
Garage.
I like the way it sounds.
Sausage, salad.
Yeah.
That's the real accent there. I mean, Chicago is just the greatest example of Stockholm syndrome. Of just you were, a lot of Polish people and Greek people and Irish people and Latin people were just basically sent off there and captured there, and then they were like, oh, I love this place. I'm never leaving.
I do watch those SNL Superfan skits and go, you know what? I think I could fit in there.
Chuck Swirsky here.
I think I could hang.
Nate Swirsky. The Bears 69, the Packers -2.
I think I'd tune into that show.
We should just have a segment here on Middays with Matt where we just name Boston cities with a Boston accent. Dorchester, Swamp Squat, The Harbor.
Whoa, you know your cities.
I only know those three.
Oh, okay. Well, you had me fooled.
I love the Smart Park. You parked it and unparked it? Oh, I parked it. All right. We ain't parking this show. We're going to continue moving on. We're going to continue rolling, baby. We got Creighton basketball to talk about. We got Nebraska basketball to talk about. We have the MLB to talk about. We have Nebraska baseball to talk about. We have Omaha softball to talk about. Nebraska softball to talk about. We have Teddy Bridgewater to talk about. We're going all over the place. And we have Austin Jacobsen to talk to at 1:00 here on 1620 The Zone. Hey, don't forget, you want to get on the conversation, 402-951-1620 is the number. That is the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. We have a ton of emails in the Equitable Bank inbox that we will get to. Don't forget, Equitable Bank, they take banking personally, baby. They'll pick up on the first ring. Shout out old man Doug, our guy. Got a lot to get through in the next about hour and 45 minutes. All of that and more here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Oh, Canada, I don't know the rest of the words.
home and native land.
Damn, I would have been right, but I didn't have enough confidence to do it.
True patriot love. Oh, we stand on guard for thee. Well, glory, I to Canada. It's a good anthem.
Oh, yeah, it's a banger.
It's a bang. It literally is a banger. Nathan McKinnon, backside 1T between the skate and the post. Soros, Finland. It makes it 3-2 Canada.
Still 35 seconds to go.
Game's over, Josh.
2 seconds left on the Canada power play.
Game is over.
Well, I guess that would kill the power play. But
Yeah, I was about to say, not a puck knower.
But that's when the goal was scored.
You know, ball knower has really, I feel like if we were to like elect words of the year, ball knower would definitely be up
really
there.
came along in the last 365 days.
Dude, like it really has picked up. And like, I honestly think to be called a ball knower now is like one of the higher forms of compliment in our industry. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I would.
Especially if it came from somebody who already was an established ball knower or former player.
Yeah.
Right? If a former playing Husker or former playing college football player talked to me and looked at me and went, ball knower, I'd be like, oh my God, you know? If I looked at you and I told you, hey, puck knower, you'd be like, whoa, well, there'd be something.
I would take it as a compliment from
Oh, was he offsides? Was Celebrini offsides? Oh, was he offsides, Josh? He was off.
This is for a trip to the gold medal.
Oh,
You
no.
got to get this right,
Oh,
Stripes.
no, he's out. Where's the puck? Oh, there's the puck. Ah. Oh, it's so close. He might be in
Controversy.
This is inches.
Whoa.
Why do you have so many angles?
What's 11 boxes?
No, they're taking you
take
into
that.
New York. They're doing the whole New York thing.
I don't think the Olympic headquarters is in New York.
Where do they go to? Like,
This is a good question.
Where does Milan go? Did they go to Toronto? Is Toronto still screwing things up?
Olympics,
Oh, that would be BS if they went to Toronto because you go to the
Oh,
home.
yeah. It has to be a neutral
It's
third
not-
country, yes.
What? So they go to Afghanistan?
The IOC headquarters is in
bad.
Switzerland.
Oh, so do they go to?
You know, they're famously neutral.
Do they go to Norway? Okay, here we go. We have the official call on the ice here. They're
right.
really talking to each other still.
All right, they're going to kill us, so we got to get out of here, okay?
All right. Well, they're not in Vancouver. Here we go. John Cooper.
We don't have
After
the sound
further
on.
review, the call on the field, the call on the he's saying this in a different language. We have a good goal. Dang it!
Oh,
It was so close.
man. So if you're
so close,
if you're rooting for Finland or against Canada, you get crushed twice on that play.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
That like they gave you that moment. And by the way, it was so close to the fact that you could definitely convince yourself that he was still offside.
They will for a generation in Finland.
For a whole generation. Come on.
This would have been their miracle on ice.
I don't know. Like Finland has a team of NHL players. If Czechia, did it, that would be their miracle.
Okay.
Finland, they got Miro Heiskanen, they got Lehkonen. Like they got some dudes, Oh, so wow. And then I mean basically Finland has it wasn't a review, Josh. They challenged it.
Coach's challenge.
Actually now they're gonna be 4-on-5 now to try and score this goal. Or they're gonna be 5-on-5 with no goalie. All right. Well, probably this
That's your defending gold medalist, Finland.
Oh.
Did we know this? Did people know this?
No, I did not know this. Did like Finland call themselves the reigning and defending champions? Like
no, I looked it up. I was
long?
like, oh, would this have been Finland's miracle on ice? Let me look up where they finished the last Olympic. They won the gold.
Where did they
Beijing.
Hey, where did they finish?
Nah.
Ha! Look, where do they put the next gen on? Dang it.
Oh.
Where do they finish? Come on now. I've had a couple of those good ones today. Not the joke about the stripper, though. That didn't go too well.
It did not.
Enter online at 1620thezone.com for a chance to win our Get Your S Together $5,000 sweepstakes. The contest runs until February 24th. Also, Joe Coy is in the Metro this spring. Have you been to a Joe Coy comedy concert before?
Can't say I've had the pleasure
He's
yet.
really good. I'm a big fan of Joe Coy. Just Being Coy Tour is going to take place on Friday, April 17th at the Holland Center. You can enter online at 1620thezone.com for a chance to win your way to the show. Hey, we talked about college basketball earlier in the show, and we talked about the games that you might want to watch this weekend. Some to highlight: Arizona at Houston. That will be very big for the Big 12 standings, along with who will end up getting 1 seed Houston, who's very much knocking on the door of knocking out UConn from being on that 1 seed line. We also have a premier marquee matchup between arguably the two best teams in the country right now, Michigan and Duke. That game tomorrow, 5:30 on ESPN, along with a fun game tonight between Purdue and Indiana, where that game for Indiana will be massive in determining whether or not they get off that bubble line and firmly into the NCAA tournament. And you definitely cannot forget about Wisconsin and Iowa, which will take place on Sunday at 3:00. That game, Iowa coming off of their signature win against Nebraska. Wisconsin has had 3 of the better wins of the Big Ten this season, with victories over Michigan, Michigan State, along with Michigan State, and Illinois. But they tripped up and lost to Ohio State in a bad game that was just simply a bad game, where Bruce Thornton had a big one for the Buckeyes and led them to victory. But let's talk a little local flavor. Tomorrow morning, rather, at 11 a.m., Creighton takes on St. John's. Creighton coming off of a big win against UConn. They played their best game of the season. You had Fedor Zugic in the lineup for the first time in his career. He had 14 points, his career high. Josh Dix had 21. It's his career high with Creighton. He actually dropped 31 points in the overtime victory last season in his time with Iowa against, guess who? Nebraska. But 21 points for Josh Dix, 18 points for Nick Graves against UConn, where he was phenomenal in playing the point guard position and controlling the pace of the game. It was bar none Creighton basketball's best performance of this season. And there's heart and there's reality. Your heart, if you're a Creighton basketball fan, says, man, this team's coming off the best win of the year. Team's coming off their best performance of the season. They've been through a lot on the court. They've been through a lot off the court. This is an opportunity for them to get another signature win, to, create this momentum heading into the Big East tournament, that if they're going to get into the NCAA tournament, they're going to have to win. They could keep this rolling. What if they had another performance like the one against UConn on the road against St. John's? What could that do for them? That's what your heart is saying if you're a Creighton basketball fan. But what is your mind saying? What is the reality of the situation? The reality of the situation is that it was an emotional win on the road, your best game of the year. You kind of, you battled through a lot to hit that peak, to get to that point, to enjoy that victory. And I think the reality of it all is that the high that you're coming off of that win is a very far fall down to where the actual skill of the team is. Okay? And don't get me wrong, it was a hell of a victory. And it was a hell of a coaching job done by Mac. They bring in a guy who hadn't played in 32 minutes in terms of game time. He hadn't played the entire game just in terms of real time. Plays the final 8 minutes of the game. He scores 12 points, and Blake Harper, he closes it out. You have 3 guards just have phenomenal performances, and Dix and Zugic, and really good minutes from Conan and Green. And it all came together. But the reality is that one performance does not sweep away an entire year of inconsistency. The reality is that this team, we haven't seen them come out and consistently play good game after good game after good game. And as much as that was a great performance against UConn, we've also seen this team go on the road and lose to Marquette by 29 points. And that's kind of the peaks and valleys of having a team that plays as inconsistently as this team does. And they play inconsistently on both sides of the ball, too. Their ceiling on defense is not nearly as high as what it is on offense, but still the ebbs and flow of this team has happened throughout the year. And then you go ahead and you look at, and that's just, I'm just talking about Creighton, right? The reality is that based on what you've seen this season, it's very unlikely that they put on a performance, they themselves put on a performance against St. John's like the one they put on against UConn. But then you also have to look at the opponent and say, wow, St. John's is the only team this entire season that Creighton hadn't been able to play against or play with for 40 minutes. Like, that was a dominant game from St. John's and Richard Pitino and his group against Creighton the first time they played against each other. I mean, you can look throughout the entirety of Creighton's season and kind of pinpoint, moments throughout the game where they really kept pace with certain teams and they were able to fight against certain teams and claw back against certain teams, right? And they played a little bit against Iowa State. They were able to play with Oregon. They were able to play a lot of that game with Baylor. They lost that game to Kansas State, but they were neck and neck at the very end. Like, you go through these losses. They should have won the Seton Hall game. It's just time and time again, other than a couple. Even the Marquette game, like the first 15 minutes of that game were pretty competitive, and then it just, the bottom fell out for Creighton. This game against St. John's that they had played previously, it wasn't even competitive because the reality is that St. John's matches up so well against Creighton. They just have the physicality, the height, the strength to take advantage of what Creighton can't do, which is defend the paint at a consistent level. And Bryce Hopkins and Zuby Ejiofor are literally the antithesis of taking advantage of weak paints. And that's what they're going to be able, and that's what they're going to try to do tomorrow. So, your heart for what this team has battled through, especially off the floor, and what they were able to accomplish earlier in the week against UConn. If you're a Creighton fan, your heart is saying, man, I want them to keep this thing rolling, keep this thing churning, and maybe give me a sliver of hope heading into the Big East tournament that maybe this team can do what is unexpected and win it all. But the reality is that this is just a terrible is terrible. It's just a bad matchup. Let's go ahead and look at the Nebraska versus Penn State game. Nebraska has played quality team after quality team after quality team during the stretch. And, I'll never forget when I lost my last game, my last playoff game in high school. We lost one of the best teams in the country, and it was a very close game. And my coach says, hey, it's great to play these close games against really great teams and really high quality opponents, but at some point you're going to have to beat them. And that's how I kind of look at Nebraska. There are 4 losses. 3 of them you can make some really good arguments as to why Nebraska should have won. But they didn't. And they got to turn that around. If you're going to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament, like we've seen the potential of this team could do, you got to finish those games. And they didn't finish against Purdue, and they didn't finish against Michigan, and they didn't finish against Iowa. They now have a really good opportunity to bounce back against Penn State, who is 301st in opponent points per game. They are 363rd in opponent's effective field goal percentage. They're 360th in opponent 3-point percentage. They're 357th in opponent shooting percentage. They are 269th offensively from 3. They are a really good 2-point shooting team, 52nd in the country at 56% in 2-point shooting, but their points per game is 75.3. It's 166th in the country. Their average score margin per game is negative 3.9. Okay. This Penn State basketball team is not good. Okay. They are not a good basketball team. This is not we talked about this. Like the top of the Big Ten is legit, and the middle of the Big Ten is pretty good with Iowa and Wisconsin and the kind of that second tier of teams. And then you got probably below Iowa and Wisconsin, you got Ohio State and Indiana on that bubble talk. But after you get past the bubble, when you get into the Marylands and the Rutgers and the Penn States and the Northwesterns and the Oregons and the Washingtons, it gets really bad really quick. Really, really bad. Really, really quick. And it's just 11-16 are the Penn State Nittany Lions this season. They're 2-14 in conference. This game is at Pinnacle Bank Arena. This should be an easy game for Nebraska. This should be the game where they shoot the lights out, they score 90+ points, and PBA is rocking, and the place is going crazy. This should be a celebration. It should be a fun time at 1 o'clock at the Vault for the people in attendance. This game should not cause any nervous energy at all. And it's just, you should take care of business here. Plain and simple.
TCB.
If this game is close in any sort of regard, like if you're sweating with 4 minutes to go, even if Nebraska were to win the game by 8, I'd still be like, whoa, what happened? Like this is the type of team that if you are an Elite 8 caliber, potential, ceiling type team, if you're a team that you expect to go to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, if you're that type of team, this team in Penn State comes to your house and you crush them and you squash them. And it's not even, and it's by the end of the game, everybody's stumbling out of Pinnacle Bank Arena because all the beers that they've bought and how much fun they've had, having a party at Pinnacle Bank Arena. That's this type of game. Penn State is terrible at defense. They don't know how to defend. They don't have as much talent as you do on the offensive end. They give up so many threes, and a lot of teams hit threes on them. What does Nebraska like to do? They like to take threes and they like to hit threes. They got Bryce Sanford, who, by the way, congratulations to him. He was on the Naismith Award Player of the Year watch list yesterday.
Bravo.
Price has been one of the best transfer portal acquisitions in the country. Let alone maybe. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find me some. I mean, you probably would be able to. I don't have the list in front of me, but I think from a perspective of a guy that wasn't that high of an impact player on his former team and then goes ahead and puts himself on a watch list like that. I mean, you go ahead and you look at that and you go, wow, that's impressive. And it was an impressive pickup from Fred Hoiberg because he knew that the type of player with Price is and the things that he does really well, along with the roster that they had around him, that he would be able to elevate and he would be able to become a better player. That's exactly what happened. And that's what high level evaluation and high level player development looks like. And Bryce Sanford is the embodiment of that. Bryce Sanford is the embodiment of what the portal can be for teams, not just from we're going to go and get David Bailey. No. We're going to go, oh, hey, here's this guy who's only averaging 6 points and a couple minutes a game for Iowa. Let's bring him. Yeah, bring him over here. He will fit in perfectly for us. And all of a sudden, he's well on his way to being on the All Big Ten first team or second team, along with being on the Naismith Award Player watch list. So congratulations, Price. Should be a party at PBA.
Party at PBA.
Should be a good time.
Tip your bartenders.
Tip your bartenders, indeed. It is a damn shame that the Omaha Mavericks aren't playing this weekend as well. It would have been a great weekend of hoops in the Metro, but you have to mention a good win for them over Oral Roberts earlier this week. They have 2 games next week, one on Wednesday against South Dakota, one on Saturday against St. Thomas to end the Summit League regular season. Omaha Mavericks, upward trend, baby. Valentino Simon, Paul Jobet know the names along with the regulars like Cam Thomas, Jayshon Glover, Grant Stubblefield, Tony Osborne, Brock Scholl, the freshman, having a very impactful season for the Mavs. That team, man, I know they didn't get off to the start that they wanted to, and there was a couple reasons why, right? Jobet couldn't play early on, and guys trying to fill some new roles, and they scheduled a pretty hard non-con 2 for mid-major standards. But they're on the up and up. They're on the up and up, and they're going to have a legitimate opportunity to go ahead to Sioux Falls and defend their title. And Chris Crutchfield, what a hell of a job he's done. And it'll be one of those things where if they pull it off and they go on this incredible run and they go back to back to NCAA tournaments, there's gonna be a lot of teams knocking on Mr. Crutchfield's door asking for his services, because the job that he's done at Omaha has been nothing short of exceptional. You know what's nothing short of exceptional? Josh Hodson, you're nothing short of exceptional.
Oh, wow, thank you. Sam, I was thinking you.
When you said tip your bartender, I almost pulled a couple dollars out of my pocket.
That was the plan.
Almost
worked.
You're my radio bartender, if you will. It is a One Beer Friday. Do we know who's subbing in for Mr. Bishop on Sportsmanlike Conduct today?
I would think it would be John Bishop.
Oh, is he not? I thought you said he wouldn't be in.
He did. Well, he'll be doing the show via satellite. In New York.
Okay. What a bunch of wusses not coming into the office.
Well, that would be very unreasonable to ask John Bishop to come.
I agree with John. I'm going to say it right now on the radio. Josh Peterson not being in person today, wuss. You know what?
Now, we don't know that to be the case.
You know what? No.
But if history is any indication,
you know what?
He will be doing the show from his podcast Nook.
You know what? Dead to us.
Whoa!
Dead to us.
No.
Yes.
You're going to need him.
If he's not in studio today, we don't take him off the list. Josh Peterson, dead to us. Add him to the list.
I'm going to ask you if you are sure about what you're saying. This is a dear friend.
A very dear friend.
Holds a lot of power in the Nebraska media conglomerate.
A very dear friend. I'm a part of his conglomerate of I-80 Club. I'm a contributor to the club. I'm not like a...
What if he kicks you out of the trust tree?
I'm like the Jared Garcia of the I-80 Club. Like the ninth guy on the bench. But I'm there. You'll see me.
He gives us like 8 good minutes
I'll
when
for
everyone's
real.
on vacation.
For real. When no one can do the Saturday morning coffee show. Oh, McMaster's here. You're like, oh, 15's on the court. Okay. What can he do? You're like, oh, that's cool. That's great. Awesome. And there are moments
if we get any production out of him, we're happy. We're thrilled. Yeah, exactly.
Dead to us, Josh Peters. Unless he shows up here, and then I will redact it, and then we'll put him on the alive to us list next to Nick Stauskas.
Nick Stauskas, alive to us.
Hasn't tweeted since the Michigan game.
Interesting.
Bigelow killed that man. What happened here? Bigelow.
Another body Bigelow put in the ground.
Another body bag Bigelow.
Great wrestling name.
Jacob Body Bag Bigelow.
I would like him to wear the classic wrestling singlet when he comes out in this character. I just think that would be the most comedic of looks.
You know, if it was Vince McMahon, he would drop the Jacob though.
Body Bag Bigelow.
No, just Bigelow.
Bigelow.
Just rolls off the tongue. You know what rolls off the tongue?
Tell me.
Rob Orich. The name, it's a good one. It rolls up. Rob Orich.
Coach Happer.
Coach Happer. We'll talk about what Coach Happer said and some vibes. We were feeling vibes from Mr. Orich, the former San Diego State defensive coordinator, current Husker defensive coordinator. We were feeling some vibes yesterday. We'll tell you what those vibes were. Coming up next on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
We have a Mick Cronin quote. We gotta we should have an alarm for Mick Cronin quotes.
We probably use that a lot.
They just happen so much.
That guy's always talking, and usually he's mad.
It's like when you were like in third grade and the tornado warning thing always went off. And you didn't know if it was an actual big deal or they were just doing the drill.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Good take.
Thank you. Do you miss tornado drills? Poll question.
No.
You didn't like it. You didn't like being 8 years old, being crowded up shoulder to shoulder in a hallway on all hands and then or on your knees and then putting your hands on the back of your neck because they tell you that your head is the most important thing and that if your head doesn't fly off, you won't die. You don't like that? You don't like being told that at 8 years old?
Yeah, no, I don't like it.
Fair enough. Mick Cronin said, I apologize to Steve Jamerson. I thought he made a dirty play. I was wrong, and I need to dial it back too. Sometimes I'm too candid.
Oh,
I'm lucky.
Interesting spin.
I'm lucky to coach here. This brand matters, and the last thing I want to do is bring this brand negative publicity. Wow. Well, Mick, too late. You can't do and say really mean and overly candid and overly honest things for 4 months and then be like, no, I don't want to purposefully lose my job. Stop saying that. So
I've become a meme for being a jerk. Yes, I guess I need to dial it back a little bit.
Essentially. Oh, hey, some Husker news here.
Husker news.
Some pro Big Red news, if you will. The New Orleans Pelicans are signing two-way guard/forward Bryce McGowens to a new 3-year contract.
Whoa.
Kyle McAlarney and Mark Bartelstein of Priority Sports tell ESPN McGowens, a second rounder in 2022, has averaged 8 points and 45% shooting on threes for Pelicans in his 4th season. Congratulations to Bryce. Bryce McGowan's very good at big buck shooter.
Whoa. Okay. Let's pick at this a little bit. How do you know that?
Would know that from personal experience. Let's just say there was a bar in Lincoln that he came to after he was at the University of Nebraska.
For Sprites and Diet Cokes
Yes,
and things like
obviously.
that.
And he was really good at big buck shooter. That bar has since closed. Rest in peace.
Oh, no.
R.I.P.
Support local businesses.
Yeah, that's right. It's the one right next to the Buffalo Wild Wings. If you know, you know. P Street, stand up. My people on P. I always love me some P Street, man. I was a P Street guy.
P Street.
Everybody was all about,
Yeah.
They're like, oh, the brass rail. Oh, brothers. Oh, Iggy's. Oh, O'Rourke's. I was like, oh, God. No. I like Bison Witch, my man. That's what I like. And that was about it. And the Raising Cane's on the corner was pretty damn good.
Raising Cane's.
And that one bar that was there that's no longer there. Closed down. They still have like full bottles of liquor though in the bar that closed down. I was like, what the hell is going on? Nobody ever.
Someone should drink those.
Somebody, you know what? It would be a disservice not to, in my opinion.
I would like to volunteer to be that person.
Bang.
I'm not a hard man to find.
No, you're not. You're right here.
That's right.
I ain't hard to find.
You want to
Have you lost your damn mind? I'll help you find it. Stanley from The Office.
If you want to give me those bottles of liquor.
No, it's just a bunch of Crown Royale. You're way above Crown Royale. Are you a part of a whiskey club, by the way?
I am.
Yeah. You gave me a bottle of whiskey from the whiskey club.
I have plenty to spare.
And it was a nice bottle.
Yeah.
I drank it.
I would never gift a bad bottle of whiskey.
Whoa. What, you would feel offended if I gifted you like a Southern Comfort?
I would wonder what you're doing, yes.
It's great for mixies.
Okay.
Well, actually, Four Roses whiskey. If I were to give you a whiskey for mixing, it'd be Four Roses. If you know, you know. We got a lot of if you know, you knows. If you know that yesterday's press conference from Rob Orich sounded kind of similar to a press conference from a former defensive coordinator under Matt Rule.
I saw a tweet from Michael Severe with a lot of numbers in it, and I didn't know what it meant at first glance.
Oh yeah, Michael is obsessed with the 4-2-5.
Oh, he's a scheme guy. He's like total ball knower. But I read it. There was no context.
Okay.
It was like the 4-4-1 is set for. Then I'm like, whoa.
I will say this.
Why is Michael giving out his locker combination?
I love Michael. Okay, I do.
I do too.
This is a known fact. I love Michael. And Michael's tweet that you're referring to is correct. It is a correct analysis, okay?
I'm sure it is.
But on Twitter, there are enough like buzzwords that you can put out there on a tweet, and even if they don't make sense, people will immediately be like, "Oh, he knows ball." You know? If you do like you put in like 5 technique and you fit in a boundary, right? And then maybe if you talk about the hashes and then maybe you put in a different 4 over, 4 under type deal. If you put gap is a buzzword. Anytime you put a gap in there or a zone in there.
Ken Pavelka knows all about that.
Maybe if he's talking about holes. He's not gaps. Okay. There's a difference between holes and gaps, according to Ken. The a-hole.
That's what he said. So here's the tweet. From Michael Stewart.
Read the tweet because it's correct. But if you say enough buzzwords, we should experiment with this. I should just write a bunch. I should just write a gibberish football tweet with a bunch of different of these vocabulary, and let's see how many people like my tweet and retweet it.
Now, context is important. He tweeted this at 1:15 yesterday. I didn't really know what was happening. I was just scrolling through Twitter, on the show here, and this pops up. 4-2-5 personnel with the rush stood up and to the boundary, the weak side D end. This is what I keep saying. Not that different than what you see from the 3-3-5. I understand it now. Like, okay,
yeah,
but when I'm just first glance, I didn't know the context or what was happening. I'm like, whoa,
so what he's saying is like
not a lot of words.
4 down linemen, and there's the rush that is closest to the sideline. You have the boundary in the field. The one that is closest to the sideline, the rusher close to the sideline, close to the boundary, is standing up. Okay, and he's the weak side. Yeah, it's
a commentary on my stupidity, not Michael's tweet.
But it's just one of those things where it's like if you say enough of these buzzwords, people will be like, ball nowhere.
Definitely.
But that's not Michael's case. Michael's case, that is. It's correct. Rob Orich. Sounded like Tony White yesterday. Not from a sound perspective or a vocabulary perspective or anything like that, but just from when Tony got to Nebraska. It wasn't about the players, and it wasn't about who they had or what they did the year before or anything like that. When Tony got to Nebraska, the conversation from Tony's mouth to all of our ears was system. Know our system. This is our system. Learn the system. Develop in the system. Understand the system. And then Tony would also talk about guys that maybe didn't have a very big impact from the year before. Tony would talk about guys that maybe we haven't heard from in a while. Tony would talk about, dudes that they might have moved position or having good camps and whatnot, right? Great example of that is John Bullock, right? You got here, system. Well, John Bullock's the type of guy that fit really well as a linebacker as opposed to being a DB. And that kind of sounded like Rob Orich yesterday. Rob Orich didn't talk about Chambliss or Winery or McDougal or Jones or Lenhart or Van Poppel or, he talked a little about Andrew Marshall because he coached Andrew Marshall, but he didn't do a deep dive into Danny Odom and what he can do. No, what did he say? This is our system. We got to learn the system. We have guys who are in the 100 courses of our system right now that are learning the basics. We have dudes who have played at the system at a high level. They're at the 200 and 300 level courses of the system. They're going to help us out. But it was all about what he wants to do, right? He talked about, we're going to split safety and we're going to play quarters coverage, which is something that you see a ton of in the Big Ten, a ton of quarters. We've seen teams win a lot of games in the Big Ten conference playing in that type of defensive coverage. He talked about, cover 7 and having that shell. Like he told you what his system was all about, what he kind of wants to accomplish, and the importance of just finding guys who can fit those roles. And that's what Tony did, right? And I think the most underrated part of what Tony White accomplished at Nebraska wasn't necessarily that the defenses were good right away, and the defenses were something you could hang your hat on in 2021. And, it wasn't, 2023 rather. And it wasn't as great as it was the year before, but it's still solid in 2024. Like, the impressive part wasn't that Tony White's defenses were great. The impressive part was that he did it with a lot of guys from a defense from a year before that wasn't. Like, the 2022 defense was not good. They were not good. And he took a lot of the same guys who played on that subpar defense and turned them into a really good defense in 2023. That should have won more games if the quarterback situation was figured out. And the fact that you have a matching of vibes there, right? The fact that you had Tony White, who had success with his system in a weaker conference the season before, and he comes in and he goes to the press conference and he talks about what he wants to do and how it's all about finding the right guys to fit in that system. And the fact now that you have the same thing, Rob Orich coming in, successful from a weaker conference with his specific system, talking about the importance of learning it and finding the guys who can do it. Tony would get up to the podium and be like, this guy popped. This guy looks good. And we would be like, oh, really? Okay, write that down. Right? All right, take that name. Oh, Omar Brown. Okay. Sounds good. That's kind of what Rob did yesterday. He was just like, yeah, it's 4-2-5. This is what we're going to do. We got to learn it. We got to find the right guys for it. Hey, Mario Buford. Not a guy that a lot of people have seen play a ton at Nebraska. He looks like he's about to break. Vincent Genatone. I know who Vincent Genatone is, and Josh and Connor Apper and Schaefer and the other people who cover this team know who Vincent Genatone is because we're paid to know the roster. But your casual fan probably hadn't heard of Vincent Genatone before. And the fact that dude is just athletic as hell. He's fast and he's built really well. I mean, like, the fact that he goes, oh yeah, here's kind of a random name in a way, and he's popping for us. It was Tony White, man. It was a little TW. It was a little the same thing. And I was a big fan of Tony White. And Tony White did some really good things at Nebraska for the defense. This is a different, I'm not saying the 4-2-5 and the 3-3-5 are the same. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying that Rob Orich and Tony White are the same humans either. But what I'm saying is that the attitude, like the vibes that you got and the approach that you got from Tony that led to success on the defense, you can kind of feel that same approach and that same tone from Rob. You can feel the confidence in his system, the confidence in his coaching, the confidence that he'll be able to find the right guys for what he's trying to do on this roster. Not trying to drink the Kool-Aid, and I'm not telling you that this team is now going to beat Ohio State because Rob Orich had a good conference. I'm not saying that.
Not saying that. Okay,
not
sorry.
saying.
So not saying.
What I am saying to you is that man, who probably has never talked to as many reporters in his life with that many cameras in his face, was impressive. And I think you can listen to that presser, and you can say, okay, I get it. I get why you got the job. Yeah, I see how you can talk to people. You already have the stats and the merit and you're coaching to back things up. But I understand how somebody can listen to you and say, okay, this guy won't work here. I got it. I got it. Now we got to see the product, but I get it. I get it. I'm a believer. I already kind of, from what I've heard, and honestly, what Michael has, the things that he's talked about in terms of what the 4-2-5 and the advantages it brings, I already thought that, okay, maybe this is something that could work out for him. I also think, too, the alignments on the D line, especially the interior defensive line, making Cam Lenhart more of a D end, and then putting, Riley Van Poppel is not a guy that's made to go head up with the center. Moving him, putting him more in 5 technique or a 3 technique, I think would be really good for him and his development. I was already a fan of that. But to see him and have him talk, right, and just see, okay, what did they see in this guy? Big fan. Big fan of it, big time. So we'll see how things progress. Coming up next, we'll give you a little bit of a kind of a preview of what you can watch here. Give some softball updates. Husker softball is an hour into their game against South Carolina. We'll give you an update there. Omaha softball, I believe, is about to start their second game of the day against Furman. And so we'll talk about all that and more coming up next here on Middays with Matt. Don't forget Austin Jacobsen, also at 1 o'clock as well.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Brett Hoiberg talked to the media today.
He,
Merrick.
like Mick Cronin, apologized.
Here's what he said. Hoiberg's comments on the incident in full. This is Steve Merrick's writing, by the way, of Inside Nebraska. Shout out, Steve. I should have Steve on this show coming up soon. We should, because he's very
Open invite.
Dude, he's very good at his job. And we love guests who talk highly about people they work with, and Tim Verghese always talks very highly of his coworker, Steve Merrick.
You got the rec from Timmy V. I like it.
Dude, Timmy V gives me any rec, and I'm in on it, except for a car wreck. Not in on that.
Oh, okay.
Talking about recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Hoiberg's comments on the Iowa incident where he slapped the phone out of somebody, a court stormer's
There you
hand.
go. Use take two.
I want to thank Iowa for the statement they put out. At the end of the day, in the handshake line, under no circumstances should anybody ever enter and charge upon you out of nowhere, and that's what happened. And I appreciate Iowa coming out and talking about that. And listen, it's a learning opportunity, I think, for everybody. Court storms, there's been a lot of different things that have happened over the years, unfortunate things. I'm not against court storms. I think it's great to be able to go and celebrate. That's what it should be about. Go out and celebrate with your team. But you can't go into the handshake line and put players and coaches in danger. It was a heated moment. It was an unbelievable game. And I was going through the handshake line, congratulating the Iowa coaches on a hard-fought win, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this kid rushes up on me, and I reacted to him. And I think anybody in my position after a game like that would have reacted in a similar way. That's the other the other thing is, listen, I am 100% reliant on a pacemaker. I'll forget a conversation with my doctor, a cell phone can put it off. Or wait, I'll forget a conversation with my doctor. A cell phone can put it off. If anything ever happens, I'm done. I will not survive if something ever happens to a pacemaker. I'm very cognizant of that. So when somebody rushes up on me with a cell phone, I'm of course going to react. What's the likelihood of that happening? Close to zero. But it was also close to zero that I even developed heart block when I was under the knife on my first open heart surgery. So there are the circumstances that were involved. Maybe people don't understand and realize, but again, it was a highly emotional game. It was one of the craziest atmospheres, certainly, that we played in this year. Again, out of nowhere, the kid comes flying. So there you go. That's his statement. Good for Fred. We never really talked about it on this show because part of the reason I didn't talk about it was like, I would have done the same crap. I mean, seriously, like that's not an area.
Somebody that's right next to me, my general reaction would be,
that's not an area that if that's not an area that anybody should be in. So if anybody goes into an area that anybody should not be in, you expect the worst. Okay. And with the crazy society that we live in, if somebody just rushed up to my face and was putting a phone in my face and they weren't supposed to be in that area, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to slap that crap out of their hands. So I was not. And I didn't want to. I just thought it was so foolish to make jokes about it too. It was just like
sure, yeah,
just say this is what it is. Good for Fred, and Fred's right. He's got a pacemaker. He's got things that are on the line. He's got things to worry about. It was a very emotional game as well.
There have been some people out there that Fred uses speakerphone exclusively. He doesn't hold those things up to his ear.
People don't. I mean, just people aren't supposed to be there. He did what he had to do. Good on Iowa too. I like that I like that Iowa did what they did. They knew that wasn't supposed to be something that occurred. So yeah, Fred's comments on it, for those who cared about it, those were his comments. Alex Sinwar writes in, bring back shame.
Great take, Sindelar.
I don't know, man. If I had a button to just stop social media right now, I would press it. I would press it. I don't need to know as much about you as I now know. I don't. We know too much about people.
Yeah. I agree with this.
In a lot of instances, I don't care.
I mean, I like seeing other parts of the world, like, oh, that's what's happening over there. That's interesting. I'm not over there. Good to get some boots on the ground reporting in that way, but I don't know how else this has really made our lives better.
I like that there is information that is just at the palm of my hand that I can go ahead and grab whenever I need.
Don't have to go to the press conferences now.
I don't have to look through an encyclopedia.
Oh, okay.
People used to tell me about encyclopedias. That's how we got our information. That sounds exhausting to me. The fact that we can just have a question and be like, oh, let me look it up. That's great. Being on social media yeah. But it's a part of my job. I have to be on Twitter, which kind of sucks. But I love my job. So you live and you learn.
You love your job.
I love my job.
Okay.
I just don't like I don't like that I have to use Twitter all the time.
Really want to nail you down on that.
You know who loves his job? Austin Jacobsen. He's doing it right now at the Nebraska State Wrestling Tournament. He's going to call in and talk to us about what's going on.
He's going to join us via the video stream.
Whoa!
That's how hard that man's working.
His TikTok hands cannot be broken. They cannot be cut. They cannot be shattered.
Can't have that man holding a cell phone for 12 minutes.
Diamond hands is what we call Austin Jacobsen. He's coming up next here on 1620 The Zone.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Nebraska softball currently playing number 11 South Carolina. They are through 2 at the top of the 3rd inning. They are scoreless in that game. Your update for Nebraska softball currently, let's go look right now. Omaha softball, they won their first game of the day with a combined perfect game. And Haley Bolts is going to make her first start for the Mavericks in their upcoming game against Furman at 1:30. Omaha softball currently 6-0 to begin the year. The number 1 ranked team in the mid-major softball polls, according to D1 Softball, trying to make it 7-0 coming up here in half an hour. We are joined from Hurrdat Sports, our very good friend and high school sport confidant, expert. What title do you want? What title? What should we give you, my friend?
None of those. None of those at all. I don't think I deserve any of those, but I do appreciate obviously the love. I do.
Are you an expert in anything?
Wow.
No, I didn't mean that demeaning. I meant that in like do you genuinely think that there is something you are an expert on? That if I were
so probably the PlayStation 1 version of Crash Bandicoot Racing, Crash Team Racing.
Whoa.
That's a good one. Trying to think, probably white people crockpot meals. That's what I'm making right now. And
do you put a whole block of cream cheese in your white people crockpot meals?
I did just drop a block of cream cheese a minute ago. If you saw me, if you're watching in the stream, I just ran out of the room to come back in. So, yeah.
What are we making? Like chicken and corn and
no, we are doing a white chicken chili. So we are, just trying to double down on the W's.
White people dish.
White chicken. It's not even chili. It's cream sauce and chicken. It's just a little.
I'm judging a chili contest this weekend, so
it's a non-traditional chili. Sorry, I like leaner protein. My bad. You don't
really
got
to deliver if you're
going to chiseled chin line without getting their protein in. Okay.
What chiseled chin line are you talking about?
Here, I can cut an apple with this thing.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't even. Whatever. You couldn't cut a pencil with that thing.
I didn't realize cutting pencils was the
sharpening a pencil. You dumb.
Okay. All right. There you go. There you go.
Sharpen pencils. You know that little. You probably were a kid that like had a.
I was a hand crank guy.
Were you?
Yeah.
You probably had a really organized pencil box. You give off that vibe.
Ooh, I was a pencil bag guy. I was never a pencil box. But I was always the pink eraser, the rectangle one. I was always stabbing that thing. That thing never was erased at all. It was just used primarily for getting my frustration out in math.
Undiagnosed ADHD? Was that's what
100%. Oh,
yeah,
1 million.
Yeah, you probably don't get into this business without having some sort of undiagnosed ADHD or being.
Yeah, more or less, or some type of obsession disorder. It's one of those two for sure. But yeah, you got to be careful of those things. You got to keep them in check because, Lord knows you could get off into a life of debauchery if you're not paying attention to sports.
Well, that's why the white chicken chili keeps you honest. It keeps you out of the life of debauchery.
It does indeed. I have a bread maker, bread loaf cooking right now too. I got everything going, man.
This is your fiance really has taken a toll on you.
What do you mean? I'm literally a trophy soon-to-be husband.
Are you watching Friends reruns? right now?
No, he's on New Girl reruns. He's on New Girl reruns. Are you not?
Dr. Fiance does have the day off, and Love Island UK is on the television. So that is what we're on.
Do you actually like that show, or do you do a really good job of pretending to like that show?
I have no idea what's going on. I'm just in the room. I'm just hanging out,
Do you find yourself having to bite your tongue when an attractive woman comes on the TV? Like
no, I just don't pay attention. Also, the amount of gaps in teeth in that show, not for me.
It's English. I mean, what were you? I mean, it's not like
orthodontist. I've never heard of them.
Literally, they always have space teeth. They're the land of space teeth. That's what I call them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I call them.
Wonder what they call you, Chicago people.
Imbeciles.
Cold, probably.
That's cold in London.
Yeah.
Is
Rainy
it?
Inside.
It's like Seattle.
They're happy now.
They have some space teeth in Seattle.
They do. Clean them dentures.
There we go. Thank you for turning that up.
Very nice. Way to go, Josh.
I don't know that was a bang. Guys.
That was a bang. It was a space joke in Seattle. They have a space needle.
I'm with odds in here. I think that was like a 5 out of 10. But
when are you ever, I got a question for you. When are you ever going to agree with me and say that I had a funny joke? That would never happen.
That's gonna be tough. Yeah, probably when it happens is when I will. But I'm still waiting.
Austin. By the way, do you think my take is that like when we get older and we graduate from like playing on the Xbox and on the PlayStation and everything like that, we drop the joysticks for golf sticks and we become like golf guys? Would you agree that the woman or the female, like the female, adjacent to that is sourdough bread making?
Oh, I'm not sourdough bread making, but yes, that would be next. So I don't have the amount of free time to feed my 100-year-old starter. I don't need that in my life. There's no reason that those videos on IG Reels were like, oh, my starter was screaming this morning. What does that even mean? What does that mean? And it sounds terrible. Have you ever looked inside of a sourdough jar? Those things
disgusting.
Are alive. And it looks like the creature from Life, the Ryan Reynolds movie, where thankfully he dies. Yeah, I mean, that is insane. Insane how people just allow this bread to contaminate their entire kitchen.
The inside of a sourdough container is just what the pictures are going to be on the released alien files from the White House to distract us from the other files that are actually being released that might be of some significance.
Would be big.
You an alien guy? Before we get to wrestling?
Yeah, alien franchise mostly. I'm not into real life aliens. That freaks me out. I can't think that deeply. But the alien franchise is very, very fun and close and near and dear to my heart.
I've never seen it.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, cool. You're welcome.
Terrible. Alien or aliens?
Good question. I am.
There's a difference?
I'm an Aliens guy. I'll say that. Like anytime I could watch Aliens any day of the week. I think I do have to be in the right mindset for Alien. I do appreciate it, obviously, but Aliens is probably my go-to.
Okay. Alien is the first movie. Aliens, plural, is the second movie.
What in the Fast and Furious BS sequel titles is that?
No, Matt, it's really simple. The second film, Aliens, has more than one.
I put that together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I may not be super smart, but I'm not a dummy.
I was just making sure. Just want to make sure you knew.
What's going on in wrestling?
State wrestling has been awesome. Obviously, I'm not there right now. They're doing the consolation rounds and everything. I'll get down there about 3:30 or 4 o'clock.
Austin Jacobsen, not going to cover those losers. That's what he said.
Consolations are great. Obviously big for a lot of the closer races, especially in Class D right now for boys when it comes down to who's going to win these team titles and such. Big moment, big opportunity. But semifinals are going to be packed, and I just had to get a lot of this stuff out of the way just for my day-to-day job here at Hurrdat. So, the girls' side was fantastic. We had some upsets in A and B. There were some characters out there, man. I love the sport of state wrestling, the environment and the event that it is. There are some wild characters out there. So let's start on Wednesday night, the girls' final. In B, I believe 190. Addison Ardval is known as the patriotic pinner from Sutherland. And she has got a American flag cape and tall cowboy American flag boots, and she wrestles in knee-high American flag socks. And I talked to her after, and I asked her, I was like, is this a character or what is this? And she said, I just love wrestling for a country that allows girls to wrestle and compete. And that's why she's so, big into this whole patriotic pinner character. So it's incredible. And on top of that, too, I tweeted this last night as well. Brent Wagner from the Lincoln Journal-Star had a great article about the first ever Lincoln, City of Lincoln girls wrestling state champion in Kinley Harris, who was able to get a win over Carson McBride of Kearney. And she's a freshman. She was able to get a victory. And she was quoted in that in saying that Lincoln kind of gets overlooked by some of the smaller schools, outside schools, because something they think we just wrestle cows.
Yeah, let me read it. I feel like a lot of smaller towns look down on Lincoln schools because we are city kids and we don't wrestle cows, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. So I do have a surprise coming. Came from our Hurrdat brand goods guys that I will show off at the state semifinals later. But it will be akin to said quote. So I'm very excited about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say we're going to have a big wrestling chain.
No. We have done that. We did a couple of big game chains for that. But in terms of boys semifinals for tonight, what was really interesting, I'll get to some of the kind of medical stuff that happened yesterday. What was really interesting is we had some of our top contender wrestlers and kind of the biggest names be really tested in their first 2 rounds. Ben Ziola, North Carolina commit, part of this great chain of Ziolas at Omaha Skutt, whether it's baseball and, of course, Cade, who's a Husker freshman wrestler right now. Ben got tested by a Hastings kid and had to work his way out into the last moments of the third to be able to get a victory, move on to the semifinals. We saw Tyler Harrell also get pushed by another Hastings character. So that Skutt-Hastings rivalry, I guess, is really deep out there in central Nebraska. But we also saw a couple of Class D kids that were the top of their brackets get knocked down to consolation rounds instead of moving on to the semifinals. Overall, though, what's interesting is that there haven't been tremendous upsets, just a lot of maybe get right or gut check type of matches in those quarterfinals that I think got those contenders back in the right mindset. Creighton Prep is going to run away with A. They are in a very good spot right now. They've got a lot of great talent, and they are all nearly at the top of their brackets. They should be favored, and right now they're gunning for the Millard South team record point total for Class A. Omaha Skutt is well away in Class B. That was apparent and obvious from the very beginning of the day yesterday. But C and D are going to come right down to it, and it is going to be a lot of fun to watch how those races kind of come down to the wire. So if you are trying to get into state semifinals tonight, the wrestling action does begin at 6. You probably should be there about 4 or 4:30 just to find some parking. All of the interior mats will be where the semifinals are, and the exterior will be the final consolation rounds, kind of in those heartbreak rounds to get into medal contention for Saturday action. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the best events that the NSA puts on. In fact, I would even say it. This is not like a hot take. I've said this before. State wrestling is the best event that the NSA puts on every single year in and year out. It doesn't matter the venue, doesn't matter the sport. State wrestling, especially the semifinals, the Parade of Champions on Saturday, all that. It's a great venue. It's a great environment and really, really knowledgeable fan base and people that are very passionate for it.
How long do you think you're going to be there tonight?
Yesterday I was there for quite a while. I got out of there like about 8:30, and then it took me about 25 minutes to get home. So it wasn't terrible. I'll probably be there until about 10 o'clock, getting the last of the interviews posted. And then tomorrow, I think wrestling starts at 2. So I'll probably be there from noon or 1, probably until 10 or 11. Just depends on how long kind of all that goes on. So there's a lot of stuff. There is a lot of stuff.
And then so tomorrow, though, are the championship rounds, correct?
Yes, and
when is
again,
that for those?
And Matt, honestly, I know that you have Blue Jay overtime and all that other stuff that's going on tomorrow, but
I'm interested. I'm thinking about
it. And I know like high school freestyle wrestling comparative to kind of like the WWE and all that other stuff. And I know, the people can say what they want about performance wrestling, all that sort of stuff, right? This is an Olympic style wrestling. I get it. But the show that the NSA will put on for this high school, the Parade of Champions, the lights, the intros, the Nebraska public media broadcast of it all, it is second to none. And on top of that, too, Nebraska is the first state to ever include in high school wrestling the coaches challenge, and they're only using it for the state finals. We did see a couple of challenges come out for the girls' side for a couple of key matches. I don't believe any calls were overturned, but you do have officials that are dedicated to watching replays and determining whether or not there were back points or whatever the call and reversal may come. So unique environment, you get new technology, you get new rules and officiating. It's an incredible stance for Nebraska to be so far ahead of everywhere else in the high school terms. And Nebraska wrestling may not get its national credence because of maybe, I don't want to say lack of talent. There's plenty of talent in the state, but maybe just because of it's not Pennsylvania. It's not, one of these hardcore wrestling states. It doesn't get that sort of notoriety, but wrestling matters here, man. And it matters a lot to the people that are here.
Well, I also I grew up with a couple wrestling parents, and I love the videos of in the stands for all the parents with the cell phones out and they're recording everything and they're yelling mid-match and everything like that. I just love sports where the families are involved, and it's it's a sense of pride for you and your family. And there's, you bring the grandma and the aunt and the uncle and everything like that. It's wrestling. And I've seen it with my own eyes in Illinois. It is a sport that brings a lot of people together. And I think that's really cool. And I don't know if you're not being paid by them, but you just cut a hell of a promo for the NSAA and their wrestling tournament. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't thinking about going to it at all until you just dropped what you dropped. And even before you said, I know I'm doing Blue Jay overtime. It's one of those weekends where it's because of football. You don't have a lot to do. So if you're not doing anything, you want to see a good athletes put on a really good show. It sounds like a hell of a time. So you know what's always a hell of a time? You coming on the show. Okay.
Yeah.
I always enjoy making fun of you 40% of the time and you making fun of me 60% of the time.
I think the entire chat would agree that percentage is dramatically off.
And I think that the chat would agree that half of my name is on the poster right now. And, I get to dictate the percentages.
All right. Fair enough, man. Well, it's always good to be here. Thanks for your time. Matt and the rest of the people, if you aren't able to come out, I do highly recommend. It is a free YouTube live stream from Nebraska Public Media.
Oh, okay.
So whether you can't watch on TV, just search the Nebraska Public Media YouTube.
Are you getting paid to cut this promo? Are you on the payroll here? This is awesome.
This is me coming from my heart right here, Matt. I'll be honest. Whatever it takes to promote local athletes, statewide athletes, get them on the biggest stage, I will do that. And I don't care what we have to do, whatever ease of access it takes, whether it's, YouTube, huddle streams, whatever. I'm always pro kid and I'm always pro showcasing this state's best athletes and especially this area's best athletes to make sure that they're getting the shine they deserve. By the way, Bolchus from Sydney is going to claim a Class C or a Class B 285 title on Saturday. So I look forward to talking with him after. So
what does Larry Putney have on you?
Larry Putney's got nothing on me. Hey, big fan of Small Town Ball, which did not make the Michael Severe podcast list, which is fine. It's fine. It's a big city bias is what it is. That guy doesn't look beside the windows outside of Sarpy County. Can't look that far. It's fine.
Horse crap call.
That's what
I agree, John.
Horse crap call.
Terrible. We're supporters of you. We're big fans of you. Thank you so much for the work you do around Omaha. Thank you for the work that you do in high school sports. Thank you for promoting this too. Like you said, we like supporting athletes and we like supporting student athletes and we like giving them the shine they deserve. So thank you so much for your service, Austin Jacobsen. Thank you for coming on the show. We'll talk to you next week, my friend.
No problem. I look forward to seeing Mount Happer grow. And of course, as always, shout out Plaquemine.
You want Mount Happer to grow? Shut your mouth. You shut up. Dude, do not say that. No, we don't. That would require more snow. We don't want more snow.
I thought Kugler said winter's over.
Is that what? Wait. So Kugler says it, and it's like for sure going to happen.
He's Mr. Omaha, I thought.
I haven't met Kevin. I would like to meet him one day.
It's words in the street. All right. Have a good one, Josh, Plaquemine, Matt, in that order. See you later.
Thanks, Austin. Coming up next. Let's talk. You want to make fun of the NBA next?
Always.
All right. We're going to do that here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
I am boldly captivated by women's 1,500 meter short track speed skating quarterfinal heats right now.
They really pack them in there, don't they?
I would kill it at this event.
Whoa.
This is one of those beautiful events with a mixture of speed and endurance, but also strategy, because it's not a big track, but you have 6 athletes out there, so you have to fight for position, and you got to establish yourself. Like if you go outside of the blue line, a little bit like NASCAR, you have to reestablish yourself above the yellow line, but you can't like cause a wreck or pass anybody. And it's just great. It's just captivating. I'm just captivated by it. It's a great sport. It's entertaining.
Look at you.
It's a little bit better. I don't know, man. Everybody like falls in love with curling. Curling is harder than you think it is, but man, speed skating, there's something about it.
You've grown in the last 2 weeks.
Well, and I've established that I couldn't be an Olympic speed skater, but I could have been a pretty damn good speed skater.
Okay.
I could have done that. I could have competed.
Should we do collegiate speed skating?
I think I would have been a great Division III University of Wisconsin whitewater speed skater. I think I would have been like an all Midwest, whatever they call that conference. I would have been an all conference speed skater.
Now, would you have hit the portal, or would you have stayed committed?
I would have hit the portal.
Whitewater?
I would have hit the portal and like skated a couple of races for like Minnesota State University. But I would have been a 4+1, but I would have never have started for Minnesota State.
No.
Like, look at this. Look how slow they go out there. Look, they're establishing the pace, right? You're establishing position.
It's 10 seconds in that first lap.
And also, look at this German speed skater. She goes, all right, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. She goes to the front. She's going to establish the pace now. She wants to push. She's going to push everybody. She's going to get ahead of them.
We're not illegally disseminating. We're just disseminating.
No, she's now going to make. Look, she's way ahead of the pack.
But there's 12 whole laps to go.
12 whole laps to go, but she's going to establish here. You got to play my game.
She's betting on herself to not gas out.
This is the Belgian.
Yeah. Their colors are similar.
And the other speed skaters are like, no, honey, we're going to come get you. We're going to come and find you. But this Ten Den Duke is her name. T Den Duke.
Good name.
Great name. I love a 3-name person.
You do. Interesting. A lot of people don't.
She's still going. She's like, I'm going to run my race. She's pushing herself here. Is she the favorite? Look at these other speed skaters. They're saying, no.
They're not worried.
Okay. They are not worried. And now
she's about to lap them.
Dude, now she's going to go to the back of the pack, and she's going to now slow down just a little bit.
She's just going to try and hang out right there.
Yeah. Just keep with the pack. As long as they don't lap you.
Mm-hmm.
This is incredible. Do you see why I'm so enamored by this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've watched a lot of the team ones this week, which are interesting because you have to like get behind the other person and then like push them forward.
Look at Den Dolk is just going to be like, all right, I'm gonna skate with you guys now. Whatever you want to do.
5 laps to go. They might want to start.
I don't think they know.
Getting a whole lap
I don't know
back.
what's doing.
Here we go.
And they've allowed Den Dolk to just kind of. She's tired though.
Yep.
She's exhausted. Is she going to be able to hold on? She's huffing and puffing. The adrenaline is gone. She's got to pick it up here, Josh.
Okay.
She's got 3 to go. It's going to come down to the wire. Why do I want to talk about the NBA when this is thrilling me right
now? See, nobody's tanking here. Nobody's
tanking.
Everybody's trying their hardest to win right now.
She's got 2 to go.
Now, there is a championship on the line, unlike most nights in the NBA.
The quarterfinals. Now, I think you got to be one of the top 3. She is, oh my God. She's like McQueen when he blew 2 tires.
They're not going to catch her, but
no, they might.
If this was about 2 or 3 laps more, she'd get caught.
She did it. Wow, look at her.
All right, 2, good stuff. 3. There we go.
Okay,
Belgium, Korea, and France.
Let's go through the NBA tanking solution, shall we?
Every single one of them.
This is one of the stupidest articles I've ever read.
Whoa.
Here are their ESPN reported a series of ideas that have been discussed by the league's competition committee in late January and the 30 general managers at their meeting on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Here are. I'm of the opinion that tanking doesn't matter. Okay. I really don't care about it. I think actually it's a stupid strategy.
I don't know how you full stop it. So I guess let's keep it going.
It's one of those things where if you want to literally give people a reason to no longer go to your games, to not buy merch, to not be invested in your team, to lose interest so you can have a 14% chance at getting the number 1 overall pick, be my guest. If I'm an NBA team, I'm going to try and make the moves that eventually gives me the best team I possibly can be, which means, all right, I'm not going to take this guy who might be worse because we're going to lose more games and get a better pick. I'll take this guy who might actually be on my team in a couple of years and try and develop him. That's how I view things, right? I'm not an NBA general manager, but I just think people who invest fully in tanking are dumb. I'm just going to say it. If you fully invest in tanking, there have been teams who have been tanking for years, and it doesn't work out for them. Also, too, the notion that only the best players come from the number 1 overall pick is just patently false. It's not correct. There's so many players who are superstars in the league who either were drafted in the teens, who were drafted in the second round, who were drafted outside the top 5, who teams even traded to go and get. That have Tyrese Halliburton. He wasn't a top 5 pick. Steph Curry wasn't a top 5 pick. Giannis wasn't a top 5 pick. Luka was he was traded for. Wasn't the number 1 overall pick. Jokic was a second-round pick. Draymond Green was a second-round pick. Klay Thompson was the 11th overall pick. The list goes on, guys. Anyway, here are the proposed ways to stop tanking. First-round picks can be protected only top 4 or top 14 plus. So they want to do. I don't think that solves it. Here's a great one. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date. Okay. If they freeze at the trade deadline, if we know that we have a bad team, we'll just start tanking right away.
Yeah.
We'll just start taking immediately. We won't have to do all this hoopla where we
I like where your heart's at, but I feel like people are just going to tank quicker.
They'll just be like, okay, we're going to be bad anyway. So we'll just make some terrible moves and not even try this offseason. No longer allowing a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years and or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. What if they're just bad? What if they're just not good at being a general manager? Like, why are you going to, if there are 4 straight years of being in the top 4, why are you going to hamper the next general manager or not being able to get a top pick? I don't understand. Like, I don't know what motivation that is going to do for teams to oh my God, it's by the way, 4 straight years. I don't know. That's dumb. That's good. Teams can't pick top 4 the year after making the conference finals. What? So you're gonna punish a team for being really good, but then not being able to capitalize on the good trades that they've made in the past? You can't pick top 4 the year after making a conference finals. This just seems like an Oklahoma City rule. That's just all that seems like. It just seems like you don't want Oklahoma City to have better, to benefit from the great trades they've made in the past. That's stupid. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records. So doesn't that just give incentive for everybody to lose, especially toward the end of the season, to make your draft pick better? We're going on a 2-year record standpoint. Also, too, you're going to a team is I guess you're rewarding quick turnarounds. That might make sense, right? But if I go from here's a great example. The Cavaliers in 2019, after LeBron left, they were terrible. You're going to tell them that they're not going to have a lottery pick because they won 60 games before, but they lost their entire team. So you're punishing that team for things that they can't control. That's your strategy to stop tanking. Also, too, wouldn't that just, if I know that I'm going to lose a lot of free agents next year, or if I'm going to be bad next season, wouldn't that allow me to incentivize tanking even quicker, even sooner? That makes no sense. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams. Why do we need to give more lottery picks? And then this is the stupidest one. Flatten odds for all lottery teams. So it just doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't, like, you can just be the worst team in the NBA and you can get the 12th pick in the draft. Guys, what are we doing? The lottery in and of itself, I mean, I was more of a fan of it when you had a 25% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick.
Whoa.
having 3 14%ers makes zero sense. Teams can just be naturally bad, guys. Teams can just be bad. They can just be terrible. Not everybody is tanking. Right? You're just punishing the teams that legitimately are just bad. And in a way, I mean, it's just none of these solutions solve the problem. None of them stop me from wanting to tank more. If you really want to stop teams from tanking, have a 3-strike policy. Hey, if you do it once, there's a warning. You do it twice, we're going to fine you. You actively sit players for BS reasons, and you're actively doing things on game day that don't allow you to put the best product on the floor. You do that 3 times, we're going to take away your draft pick. That's how Stern would have done it. That's easy. 3-strike policy. If you're making up injuries and you're not playing players and you're doing all this BS to make sure that you can go at that you can lose the game, you do that 3 times. We'll give you a warning the first time. We'll find you the second time. You do that 3 times, we're going to take away your first-round pick. Done. No questions asked. That's how you solve tanking. Not that I care. I think tanking is a stupid
You sound
decision.
like you don't care.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just those are you're gonna have all the best minds in the NBA come together, and you're just those are your solutions. None of those work. All of them are dumb. They're all stupid. There's a loophole. There's a loophole around all of them, and most of those rules punish the people who aren't even tanking. I can't have a top 4 pick after making the conference finals. How does that solve Indiana benching their whole team? It doesn't. And that's an Indiana rule too, because they made the conference final.
Yeah,
that's so stupid. It's so poignant. It's way too specific.
That's punishing them for only having one good player who got injured.
It's punishing them for Tyrese Halliburton tearing his Achilles.
Yeah.
John says, I'll say it again. Tanking in the NBA doesn't work at all. The draft lottery is fixed. It has been since it started. It's not completely wrong. Definitely some NBA drafts have been fixed. All righty, coming up next, we end Middays with Matt this week. Great week, Josh. Great week. We had actually a fun week.
Good
this
work.
was a good one.
Work, everyone.
Probably the best week of the show. Buzzer to buzzer. And you weren't even here for one of the days.
That's right. Maybe that's the key to our success. Load management on my part.
Yes. Josh Odson only works 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't support that for the show, but I support it for your quality of life.
If it made the show better, I'd be willing.
I love Peter Krenzer. We all love Peter Krenzer. But we also love Dog of the Day. That's coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Charles goes, give the first round to that team's division rival. You take too much, Milwaukee Bucks. Congratulations, Chicago Bulls. Extra lottery pick. Yes, Charles.
I wonder if that would work.
The ideas that make the difference right there. Hey, before we end the show, we want to remind you this week's Zone Half Off deal is Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill. This deal is for two $25 vouchers for only $25. You heard that right. Two $25 vouchers for only $25. That's like a buy one, get one free deal. Right? Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill is located at 178th Street in Omaha. Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill serves pizza with an unforgettable pizza sauce and fresh ingredients and unique combinations of bold flavors. Listen all week to Apper and Schaefer for a chance to win $50 worth of gift vouchers. Josh Odson, what are we watching this weekend, my friend?
Oh, we got a lot of different things on the menu this weekend. Indiana at number 7, Purdue tonight. 7 o'clock on Big Fox in the men's basketball game this weekend. Creighton, number 17, St. John's, world's most famous arena. That's where John Bishop will be at 11 a.m. tomorrow. You can watch it on Big Fox. Our coverage begins right here on 1620 The Zone. At 9:30, John Bishop takes you inside the Garden at 10:30. Penn State at number 9, Nebraska, 1 o'clock tomorrow on BTN. The most significant game of the college basketball weekend, 2 o'clock on ABC, number 4, Arizona at number 2, Houston. I know many of you thought I was going to say number 1, Michigan at number 3, Duke, 5:30 ESPN from Washington, D.C. Very cool game. Not a lot of stakes, though. We discussed that earlier on Middays with Matt. Number 6, Iowa State.
We did.
They're at number 23, BYU. Late night tip tomorrow, 9:30 on ESPN. Women's basketball, 11 a.m. Sunday, Big Fox, number 13, Iowa, hosts number 6, Michigan. Nebraska at Washington, 2 o'clock Sunday on BTN. A lot of NBA on your TV this week. Let's see, what's good? Clippers, Lakers, 9 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Houston Rockets, the New York Knicks from the Garden. 7:30 tomorrow night on ABC. Celtics, Lakers, Sunday night basketball on NBC, a little earlier than normal with the Olympics, 5:30 on Sunday for that one. Men's hockey team, the Americans taking on Czechia here in, I don't know, like half an hour or so. On
Slovakia.
Oh, Slovakia. I'm sorry.
You're good.
The error on my part. Thank you.
I forgive you.
We lift each other up.
We do.
The gold medal match, Canada is awaiting the winner of that contest. 7 a.m. Sunday. You're going to have to wake up early to watch the gold medal hockey game. And, of course, the closing ceremonies, 1:30 on Sunday on NBC. They'll hand the event off to the French Alps for 2030 Sunday night. Baseball on your TVs. Creighton in action out west, the Tony Gwynn Invitational against UC San Diego, 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN+. Then they take on San Diego at 7 o'clock.
San Diego.
Some are pronouncing it that way, yes, on ESPN+. Sneaky good contest, number 7 TCU against number 1 UCLA, 7 o'clock tonight on FS1.
Whoa, on linear television?
Linear television, that's right. Volleyball, Love Madison takes on Love Nebraska, 5 o'clock Sunday on ESPN2. Tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock on Nebraska Public Media, the 2026 Nebraska State Wrestling Championships. And Matt, after that, cozy in for some Sunday night action on ESPN, 7 o'clock, as they re-air the 2026 Royal Rumble.
I don't care. No. I'll be at the Elimination Chamber, though.
But you can prep for it by watching the Royal Rumble on ESPN.
I'm okay.
It already happened. We know who won.
Did it already happen? It never happened.
This is ESPN's. Hey, we got nothing else.
Do you know what has happened before?
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs, right?
I feel it in my loins.
I can feel it in my plums.
I feel it in my plums. I feel it in my gut. I feel it in my chutney.
Let the boy watch.
Let him watch. Let him watch Bowling Green defeat Miami of Ohio and make them 26-1. Let the boy watch like his daddy and his daddy before him. and like his daddy before him, will bet Bowling Green money line plus 330 tonight at 7:30 p.m. Dog of the day.
Dog.
Bowling Green.
I like knowing early if that dog of the weekend's going to hit. I don't like waiting all weekend for the
Don't
dog.
forget, we do have a marinating dog, if you will, Si-Woo Kim, to go ahead and be the top 5.
How's he doing after corner?
Our odds went from plus 450 to plus 330. So we're trending in the right direction here.
Interesting.
Si-Woo Kim might see you at the top of the standings.
Hey!
Come on. What an end of the
joke, man.
show. What an end of the week. We will see you on Monday here on 1620 The Zone.